the 2-2 pitch. Yelich, a high drive, deep right, down the line, fair and gone!
The Brewers look to shut down the Tampa Bay Rays and light up the sky at American Family Field. Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 6:05. We are the home of the Brewers. 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
I'm Julia Fellow. Your top story this hour: attempts to end the war in Iran.
I'm Adam Roberts, in for John Mercure. Witnesses taking the stand in the trial of an officer's murder.
I'm Debbie Lazaga. Eastbound 94, right about at Moreland Road, we do have a crash off on the right shoulder. A tow truck just got pulled up onto that area. It looks like everybody's passing it without much of a problem, but it's just something to keep in mind. Give them a wide berth if you can. We do have eastbound 94 also backing up coming out of the stadium interchange past 35th. The westbound side backing up from just before 35th Street all the way past Hawley Road. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Mostly cloudy tonight, a low of 33 degrees. Tomorrow, cloudy and cool. A chance of evening rain-snow mix, a high of 40 degrees. Right now in Milwaukee, it's cloudy and 37 degrees. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, a major rally for the stock market on growing optimism over an end to the war in Iran. The Wall Street Journal says that President Donald Trump told aides he's willing to end military hostilities in the Middle East, even if the Strait of Hormuz remains largely shut. Meanwhile, News Nation's Nicole Burley says U.S. attacks and rising gas prices continue.
New strikes as the U.S. is pressing for a deal. The Pentagon dropping so-called bunker buster bombs on an Iranian ammunition depot. U.S. forces have hit more than 11,000 targets throughout this month-long war. But as the fight over the Strait of Hormuz continues, gas prices spiking now to their highest national average in years. Experts say they could continue to rise.
President Donald Trump again expresses frustration that other countries are not sending military assets to join the conflict.
Meanwhile, stateside, a federal judge has ordered the Trump administration to halt construction of a $400 million ballroom at the White House. CBS's Ed O'Keefe.
The judge's ruling takes effect in 2 weeks, and he ruled that a legal challenge brought by a preservation group suing to block the president's construction project is likely to succeed on the merits because no statute the government used to justify the construction comes close to giving the president the authority he claims to have.
The order requires congressional approval to continue.
Testimony is underway in the trial of Tremaine Jones. He's the man accused of killing a Milwaukee police officer, Kendall Corder. Both sides presenting their opening statements this morning.
Officer Corder and Officer McCrae were sent there because people called for help, and they're the police. The defendant was there with a short-barreled rifle because he was there for a fight between girls, and he demanded people come outside or he was going to shoot. And Officer Corder died because of that.
That's Assistant District Attorney Grant Hubner. The defense called Officer Corder's death a tragedy and that it's the position of the defense that the state does not have the right person. Jones faces 4 felony charges. If convicted, he could face life in prison.
Another teen takeover Monday in Milwaukee.
Moody Park is going to be about 23rd and hour for a large crowd that's forming regarding that park takeover.
That's from Broadcastify Scanner Audio. Police responding to Moody Park Monday evening. Gunshots also flying at the Northside Milwaukee Park. It comes after at least a dozen people were arrested during a similar takeover at Bayshore Mall on Sunday. Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley in a social media video Monday calling out the behavior.
I want to urge all the parents to stay engaged in your child's life. I mean, look at their social media. Know where they are going, who they're with.
Police say multiple social media posts promoted both takeovers.
Some Republican lawmakers are pushing to eliminate vehicle emissions testing in the Badger State.
Congressman and gubernatorial candidate Tom Tiffany says he plans to work with the EPA to secure a waiver that would end Wisconsin's emissions testing requirement. State Representative Bob Donovan argues the program is outdated since today's vehicles are cleaner and more efficient. They also say it puts a financial burden on low-income residents. Emissions testing is required in 7 counties in the southeastern part of the state. Drivers in those areas have to complete mandatory emissions tests every 2 years to renew their registration. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
One of those supporters is Congressman Tom Tiffany, who's also running for governor as a Republican. We have him joining us coming up on Wisconsin's Afternoon News Live at 4:15.
Coming up next, the quest for 161 and 1 begins.
Outdoor
It's
Living Unlimited
springtime,
WTMJ
and
News
instead of
Time
getting
at
out
3:05.
fun, you have to paint the deck, repair the boards, and discover more rotten wood on your deck. Call Outdoor Living Unlimited to replace the old beaten-down wood deck with a beautiful new composite deck with new railing. Outdoor Living Unlimited is Wisconsin's top TimberTech decking installer and can deliver a design and build your next maintenance-free deck. Stop by our Outdoor Living Unlimited showroom at 665 Larry Court in Waukesha or visit OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
For 176 years, St. Vincent de Paul Society of Milwaukee has been neighbors helping neighbors, working to eliminate poverty and hunger with compassion and dignity. When families face hard times, our volunteers step in. Over 600 trained volunteers ready to meet people where they're at, in their homes. And that's what our Neighbors Helping Neighbors home visit program is all about. Volunteers travel in pairs, listening first, then offering personalized support. They provide families and individuals with things like furniture, beds, food, clothing, and connect them to vital community resources. Help that provides stability during challenging times. These home visits don't just address an immediate need, they help create a safer, more stable future for our families and individuals in our community. Last year alone, St. Vincent de Paul Society volunteers completed nearly 11,000 home visits across Milwaukee County, serving those who need us most. Together, we are neighbors helping neighbors. To learn more about our mission or get involved, visit svdpmilw.org.
It's Mike with Infinity Exteriors. I've seen it all, Wisconsin. Sketchy sales gimmicks for low-quality windows, siding that costs more than a new home, fly-by-night roofers. 60,000 happy customers made a better choice. Infinity Exteriors roofing, siding, and windows all come with our lifetime workmanship warranty, no overcharges, and transparent pricing. At Infinity Exteriors, we're on a mission to save our communities from unscrupulous contractors. Visit infinityexteriors.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Well, you can't win them all, but the Brewers certainly did try. A loss on Monday to the Tampa Bay Rays, their first of the young season. A big one tonight at American Family Field, though, as pitcher Brandon Woodruff is set to make his season debut with the Brewers and Rays taking each other on in Game 2 of the series. Woodruff had shoulder surgery in 2023, missed all of 2024, and made just 12 starts last season.
I know some of the velocity numbers are not like, they're not 96, 97, but just the way I feel physically is last year's it's not even fair to compare to this year.
Our coverage of tonight's game starts at 6:05 right here on your home of the Brewers, WTMJ. ESPN Shams Sharani reporting Milwaukee Bucks head coach Doc Rivers is going to be inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, alongside Candace Parker, Amari Stoudemire, and Elena Delle Donne as part of the 2026 class. Meanwhile, the Bucks in Dallas this evening. You can hear that game tonight over on 94.5 ESPN beginning at 6:30.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time 3:09.
Hi, this is Brittany from the Neal Group with today's tax tip. Remember to keep receipts and documents to support the numbers on your tax return. Also, keep a copy of the return you filed. The IRS has 3 years to audit your tax return and ask you for proof of a deduction or income claimed. The state of Wisconsin has 4 years. Lack of substantiation could result in not only additional tax due, but also interest and penalties imposed on the additional tax due. Imagine having to pay an additional 20% or more in penalties plus interest for 2 or 3 years. For more tips, or if you have questions, visit nealgroup.net or call 414-325-2040. That's nealgroup.net.
Wisconsin's afternoon news is on the air, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, Julia Fellow and Adam Roberts.
Well, what a relief to see the markets close about 10 minutes ago. The stocks are soaring after a rating leader signals openness to negotiations. So the Dow was up more than 1,100 points. It was up 2.5% on the day, ending at 46,341. NASDAQ up more than 3%, and S&P 500 up 3%. So that is all good news. We have more news, too.
This is The 3. at 3 on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
And that news, Julia, begins with continuing coverage this afternoon of day one of testimony in the trial of Tremaine Jones, the man accused of shooting and killing Milwaukee police officer Kendall Corder in an ambush-style attack last year. The trial officially began on Monday with the process of jury selection, but it was a lengthy run of rigorous questionnaires, but ultimately a 5-woman, 9-man jury was selected earlier today. Opening statements also taking place. You heard from the prosecution in our top-of-the-hour news. Defense attorney, meanwhile, Abigail Ruckdaschel, is calling Officer Corder's death a, quote, tragedy.
But the one thing that makes this tragedy worse is if we don't have the right person. And it's defense's position here. The state doesn't have the right person.
So the prosecution has listed more than 180 potential witnesses in this case. Some of them have already taken the stand so far today. Not among them is Corder's partner, Officer Christopher McCrae, who was also shot that night but did survive the attack. He is on that list of potential witnesses. I've not seen him yet take the stand. Jones, as you heard in the news, facing 4 felony charges, including that additional firearm charge administered ahead of the trial yesterday. If convicted, Jones faces life in prison.
I could only imagine what his partner must be thinking if he takes the stand. He was one of those who was ambushed and was getting better. I mean, when he went to Officer Kendall Corder's funeral, he was still in a wheelchair.
That's right.
Very, very emotional. Number 2, Adam. Tiger Woods. He's worth $1.5 billion.
That's a lot of money.
Isn't it? But we're getting more information on the DUI charges out of Florida after that serious rollover crash near his home in Jupiter Island. So according to an arrest report, he was found with 2 hydrocodone pills, that's an opioid for pain medication, in his left pocket after crawling out of his overturned SUV, according to police reports that were obtained. And authorities say that he had signs of impairment, including bloodshot eyes, glassy eyes, dilated pupils, sweating, slurred speech, slow movement. He failed a sobriety test, a field sobriety test. Mm-hmm. He refused to do a blood draw, but he did blow, and he blew a 0.00.
Sure.
So now we know a little bit more, but if you want to know about his extensive medical history, it is long, including 7 back surgeries and more than 20 leg surgeries. So he was planning to go and play the Masters and do a whole bunch of things this year, so it's really unfortunate. So we'll see. He is now out. He faces DUI-related charges, property damage, and refusing a lawful test.
And back here at home for our third 3 at 3, after lengthy delays getting a project up and running in Milwaukee's Deer District, construction now poised to soon begin on a new apartment development. It's actually mixed use, called the Fieldhouse Flats, which would be on a parcel of land just northeast of the Bucks Arena Fiserv Forum. For longer Milwaukee historians, think of where the former Sydney High building stood on Juneau, that multicolored building downtown that's since been torn down. This would go in that plot of land. According to the developer, there's going to be a lot of affordable housing within this apartment complex. The average rent would run around $1,059 a month. It is unclear if that is the average for all of the units within the building. That could include 2 bedrooms. That could also include studio apartments. It is downtown, so that price is subject to further examination. There would also be rent caps starting at half of our area's median income. I looked it up. That's roughly $88,000 for a couple of 2. The space also set to include on the first floor an athletic facility for Milwaukee Area Technical College, which is also located their main campus right here in downtown Milwaukee. So construction is poised to begin as early as next week. It is construction season. The full building would be ready for occupancy by March of 2028. Now, we will see if that timeline plays out. Look no further than the Edison property, that high-rise, also downtown, separate developers, but these things are definitely subject to change. But construction on the Fieldhouse Flats in the Deer District set to begin next week.
3:15 on WTMJ. Debbie helps get you home next. We also have your 5-day forecast and a major rally for the stock market. Growing optimism over an end to the war in Iran. Wall Street Journal saying the president told aides he's willing to end military hostilities even if the Strait of Hormuz remains largely shut. Now, what could that mean for other costs, including fertilizer for our farmers in Wisconsin? That's next.
Wisconsin weather doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, we make upgrading your home simple. Right now, order today and get 0% interest until 2032. You heard me right. 0% interest all the way until 2032. Upgrade your windows and doors now and pay over time without paying interest. With our 10-year limited warranty, you can feel confident in your investment. Schedule your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. 3/31/2026.
Hey, everybody, it's Debbie Lazaga for Car Edge. Are you tired of the excruciating car buying process, of spending hours searching for your ideal car and haggling at the dealerships? Well, my friends at Car Edge have completely revolutionized the industry. They communicate with multiple dealerships for you, scoring you the best and lowest price possible while you remain completely anonymous. No spam calls, no pressure. Join the thousands of happy customers with an average review of 4.9 stars. For a limited time, WTMJ fans get 20% off their services. Call 414-667-7413 or visit caredge.com/WTMJ.
Want to stay up to date with the crew?
Yelich, a high drive, deep right, down the line, fair, and gone!
Tune in to Brewers Extra Innings with Dominic Cotroneo after every game.
Just thought this team was better than last year's team, both on paper and how they performed. I just like what this organization has done with the offseason.
Or listen anytime on the Brewers All Access podcast feed. We are your home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
Staying active, essential for overall health. Proper medical support, essential for staying active. WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Whether it's keeping a weekend warrior like me on the tennis court or keeping young athletes in the game, you want the best in sports medicine, that's OAW. Surgeons, nurses, and physical therapists help you recover from injury, avoid injury in the future, and enhance performance. Get care 7 days a week. Walk right in at an Ortho ASAP clinic or book an appointment online at orthowisconsin.com.
Traffic is sponsored by TaybackAttorneys.com. Veterans benefits denied? Call Tayback for the payback. Tayback Law fights for those who fought for us. If you're a vet and have been wrongfully denied the VA benefits you're entitled to, call Tayback for the payback. TaybackAttorneys.com.
Traffic and weather, Debbie Laska.
Southbound 43 backing up a bit, heading down from about Keefe all the way down through the Marquette interchange and over the high-rise bridge. On westbound 94, we've got backups from about 25th Street all the way to Hawley Road. Eastbound, we did have an earlier accident around Moreland Road. That has been cleared, though we do have delays stretching all the way back to about Brookfield Road with that one. Then some more delays coming out of the stadium interchange to 35th. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast, mostly cloudy tonight, a low of 33. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy and cool, a chance of an evening rain-snow mix, a high of 40. Rain is likely on Thursday, windy, a high of 61. Friday, slight rain chances, mostly cloudy though, a high of 54. Then for your Saturday, rain showers are likely, a high of 54 degrees. Right now in Milwaukee, it's cloudy and 37 degrees. 3:19 on WTMJ. The conflict in Iran and the closure of the Strait of Hormuz threatening global fertilizer shipments. It's putting U.S. farmers at risk, including here in Wisconsin, during a critical planting window. And experts are warning that the delays could force higher costs, reduced application, or crop changes, potentially jeopardizing the entire growing season. We have with us right now an international trade attorney. Her name is Marina Mikkel. Did I pronounce that correctly, Marina?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So I'm trying to really localize this. So in Wisconsin, if this continues, and again, the president just said today that, you know, it looks like we're closer to ending the war, but he said even if the Strait of Hormuz remains largely shut, what could that mean for farmers here?
So we're going to see probably a lot of farmers go into debt or some bankruptcies. This is, even if the conflict were to end today, the damage has kind of already started and will snowball. So we're definitely going to see this on our grocery receipts, here in the fall. And I think that farmers, about 50 farmer associations actually drafted a letter to President Trump asking him for some type of relief while this conflict is ongoing. And it was very clear that farmers have been struggling for the last 2 years. So, this conflict is just kind of exacerbating what they were already feeling. And so I think that we are likely to see the ongoing effects of this much longer than the conflict, before or after the conflict ends.
And I think even beyond just agriculture as well, Marina. So I was a former golf greenskeeper in a past life, and I know that right now, especially in Wisconsin this time of year, we're seeing golf courses up again, and this is a critical time to lay out fertilizer on greens and fairways, and not just golf as well. Other industries rely on this product. Does this serve as a wake-up call to us here at home that we might need to diversify how much we take in imports as a country when you consider just how much product flows through the strait?
Moments like this where we find conflict and where globalization and free trade kind of come to a halt because of something, not within our hands, you kind of see why a diverse domestic production is really important. And while this is ongoing, we're seeing other countries protect themselves. So China actually announced that it was going to halt exports of its fertilizer so that they could weather the storm. And so that, again, just hurts other geographies, but it's kind of, a move in order to protect their price of food and make sure that their, people are taken care of. And so that's kind of what happens when you see a conflict like this. Countries, begin to protect themselves so that they can weather the storm.
What's interesting is that when the war in Ukraine began, Ukraine is a huge fertilizer. That's where a lot of it is made, and the costs were going up then. How is that different than going through the Strait of Hormuz? Is this even worse of a situation, or is it equal, or is this just another way of how things are unpredictable for farmers with the supply chains?
So I've seen several economists actually compare the two conflicts and say that we're dealing with something far worse this time around. I think it's because it's not just one supply chain affected, and it's not just one real issue, it's several. So not only are we seeing the price of fertilizer and oil and gas go up, but we're also just seeing ships. I think there are about 3,000 vessels that are just sitting on either side of the strait, unable to bring goods to the United States. We're seeing shipments have to be rerouted. And, that all goes, the prices are all going to go up. So I think this, from what I'm reading and from what we're kind of hearing, is this conflict is having a bigger outreach because there's just too many different things that are happening with the strait being closed. It's not just certain items that we're not being able to receive. It's that it's kind of all items. And I think that when you ask people what industries are affected by this, you can't name a couple. It really is all of them.
Yes. She is Marina Mikkel, international trade attorney. Marina, thank you for your time.
Of course. Thank you guys for having me.
324 on WTMJ. Speaking of money, let's take a look at those markets now. Again, your WTMJ Annex Wealth Management market update on the heels of the president's words on the ongoing conflict. Markets responding with big gains today, some of the biggest we've seen since the war in Iran began. The Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P 500 all up in a major way. The big winner was the NASDAQ, up 3.8%, nearly 800 points in the green. The Dow went up over 1,100 on the day. That's about 2.5%. And the S&P 500 up 185 points, just under a 3% win on the day. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scafidi.
And Kristen Bry of Point Taken.
What's more important than having a special needs child turning 18 who needs guardianship?
Or helping aging parents plan for long-term care.
Thankfully, the attorneys at Walney Legal Group can help with both.
No intimidating lawyers, Walney Legal provides a customized, friendly experience to help make these processes as straightforward and streamlined as possible.
So whether you're planning for aging parents
or establishing a strong legal foundation for a special needs child, visit WALNYlegal.com.
The only place to get this.
Playoff push for the Bucks is officially over. For the first time in 10 years, as Milwaukee will not qualify.
With some of this.
10 years, they've been a playoff team. And for the first half of that 10-year period, they were one of the elite teams in the Eastern Conference. And you saw that slowly start to chip away.
Get it all on Bucks Talk, your all-encompassing Milwaukee Bucks postgame show. Only heard here on the home of the Bucks, WTMJ.
There's a lot of noise coming out of Washington these days, but one thing retirees in Wisconsin can't afford to ignore is the new Big Beautiful Bill. Sounds harmless, right? But here's the truth. The changes buried in this bill could have a serious impact on your retirement. At Drake & Associates, we've dug into the details, and we want to make sure you know what's really at stake. The Big Beautiful Bill includes sweeping updates to tax brackets, Social Security thresholds, Medicare premiums, and retirement account rules. And for many retirees, it could mean higher taxes on your savings, more limits on deductions, and unexpected changes to your income plan. Maybe you're already retired, or maybe you're just a few years away. Either way, what you don't know could cost you thousands. That's why we're offering Wisconsin residents a free educational guide to help you understand how the new bill may impact retirees and questions to discuss with your trusted financial advisor. Just text the word tax to 414-897-9522. That's tax, T-A-X, to 414-897-9522. You'll get immediate access to expert insights from the team at Drake & Associates, retirement planners who have been serving Wisconsin for over 20 years. We focus on tax-efficient retirement planning, helping you keep more of your money, avoiding surprises, and staying ahead of the curve no matter what Congress throws your way. So before the Big Beautiful Bill takes a bite out of your hard-earned savings, let's make sure your plan is designed to help prepare for uncertainty. Text TAX to 414-897-9522. That's TAX to 414-897-9522. Drake & Associates, helping build retirement confidence right here in Wisconsin.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
Your financial life is not just about numbers. It is a journey, and Annex Wealth Management aims to help you move through it with clarity. When markets shift, it can be hard to understand what it means for what you have built. Annex offers guidance as a fee-only fiduciary firm, which means their recommendations are built around your best interests rather than commissions or product sales. Annex gives you access to a local team that includes wealth managers, financial planners, investment managers, estate planning attorneys, and client service specialists who work together to create a strategy tailored to your situation. They help clients with investment management, retirement income, planning, tax coordination, estate planning, education funding, and business succession strategies. Annex knows there's different financial plans for different stages of life, and they can help you adjust as things change. With nationwide accessibility, Annex blends personal attention with leading-edge tools to offer an experience built around informed decision-making. Annex Wealth Management. Know the difference. Click Get Started at annexwealth.com.
It's here on consignment from over 10,000 nationwide partners. From very high-end, distinctive furniture, unique antiques and original art, to tasteful home decor that can fit almost any budget. Premium home decor priced right at 25 to 40% off retail prices. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Smart interior designers know that what they'll see here is going to be almost impossible to find anywhere else, especially at our consignment prices. Premium home decor that's gently loved and close to new. And what we carry can raise the wow factor of anyone's home decor. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
It is 3:30. I'm Julia Fellow. Your top story this half hour. Gas prices on the rise as the conflict in the Middle East continues.
I'm Adam Roberts, and About Face on Public Broadcasting.
I'm Debbie Lazaga. We've got delays southbound 41 from just south of Appleton Avenue all the way down past Capitol Drive. The northbound side slowing down just past Mayfair Road up past Burleigh, almost to Capitol. We've got southbound 43 also heavy from Locust down through the Marquette interchange. Westbound 94 is backing up from about 30th Street to Hawley Road. Eastbound slowing down right through the Barker Road area, pretty much starting from Springdale all the way past Brookfield Road. And then back on the brakes from Mitchell Boulevard all the way through to 35th Street. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Most of the rain threat has moved out. Could still be some spotty showers or storms. Mostly cloudy tonight, a low down to 33. Chance for a rain-snow mix tomorrow. Otherwise, mostly cloudy with a high of 40. Right now, 42 and light rain in Milwaukee at 331.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, gas prices have jumped past an average $4 a gallon for the first time since 2022. Drivers in Chicago and Washington say they're changing their driving habits because of the cost.
It's just ridiculous. I got 10 gallons for $50. It's just this whole war situation. It's just causing everything to go up.
This is the highest, that I've seen in a very, very long time, if not ever.
As a dad, as I drive a lot, and so I'm trying to be more strategic with my driving.
The last time Americans paid this much for gas was after Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Right now, the Wisconsin average for gas prices is $3.66.
A big uptick for the markets today amid words from President Trump he would be open to ending the conflict soon. But market prices have fluctuated wildly since the conflict began 5 weeks ago, and investors are starting to worry as progress towards an end to the war officially remains unclear. Annex Wealth Management CEO Dave Spano on WTMJ's Point Taken.
The odds of a recession are continuing to grow. And that's what I mean about people getting concerned. And so the recession odds went from 10 to 20 and now over 30%. And so we don't want to see that, but the longer this continues, the higher the odds of a recession.
And again, today, markets on a big uptick with the NASDAQ, Dow, and S&P all up around 3% on the day.
A federal judge has moved to permanently block the Trump administration from cutting funding for the NPR and Public Broadcasting Service, PBS. CBS News' Cammie McCormick.
A judge ruled President Trump's executive order to cease the funding was unlawful and unenforceable, and he said the First Amendment does not tolerate viewpoint discrimination and retaliation of this type. Trump said last year he wanted to defund NPR and PBS because he believed they were biased.
Trump's order violated the First Amendment rights of the public media giants, according to the federal judge in Washington.
Back at home, no one hurt after a fire breaks out inside of a FedEx truck in Madison. The vehicle was on fire inside a FedEx distribution facility on the city's northeast side early yesterday. Staff were able to remove the truck and use a dry chemical extinguisher to put out the fire. It turns out it had started from 64 lithium-ion battery cells inside of a cardboard box. Madison fire officials say it's the second fire related to lithium-ion batteries they've responded to in 3 days.
A canine officer finds a stolen gun in West Bend.
A 21-year-old man from West Dallas allegedly stole a gun while visiting a home near Wayne Road and North 13th Avenue on West Bend's northwest side. He fled on foot from police and was eventually arrested, but police found a different gun on him. So canine officer Flash was brought in and located the stolen gun completely hidden in a pile of leaves about 200 feet from West Bend High School. The suspect was arrested on charges of theft, carrying a concealed weapon, and being armed while intoxicated. Elizabeth Linton in WTMJ News.
A 3-judge panel dismisses a lawsuit challenging Wisconsin congressional map lines as partisan gerrymandering.
The panel ruled it lacks the authority to overturn the map drawn by the Wisconsin Supreme Court in 2022. The state Supreme Court appointed 2 3-judge panels to handle separate challenges to the state's congressional map. The second panel is still considering a lawsuit that claims the map is an anti-competitive gerrymander. That suit is scheduled to go to trial next year. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
Following Governor Tony Evers' veto of a bill that would opt Wisconsin into a nationwide school voucher program, education advocates are weighing in. The new federal program offers tax credits for donations to scholarship-granting organizations. In his veto message, Evers argues it would divert billions of dollars from public schools. City Forward Collective Executive Director Celestin Morgan tells WTMJ.
Treasury and the Department of Education at the federal level have been super clear. Public schools are eligible, or public school students will be eligible to receive these dollars. Some of the details in that statement, they just haven't been worked out yet because this is still in federal rulemaking. So those are open questions yet to be decided.
The federal program starts next year.
Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson has already declared 2026 the year of housing and reiterated that point during his annual State of the City speech.
Housing affordability, housing availability, and housing quality.
Mayor Johnson says he's shifting focus from low-income to middle-market housing with new special tax districts and help for future homeowners.
We anticipate helping more than 200 families realize their dream of homeownership with down payment assistance.
Johnson also hinted at lawsuits recently filed against one of the city's biggest out-of-state landlords.
Some landlords, they delay or ignore, leaving tenants in unacceptable living situations.
Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
Time for a WTMJ Sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. It's a bounce-back Tuesday for your Milwaukee Brewers. They look to rebound from a 3-2 loss to the Rays Monday night, their first L of the season. Brandon Woodruff going to be on the mound, making his first start of the season in Game 2 of the series tonight. Woodruff had major shoulder surgery in 2023 and was shut down in September of last season.
Physically, I feel good. I was able to have a full off season. I knew it was going to take me 2 years or more to kind of feel normal again, and it truly has taken that long.
Woodruff on the mound for tonight. Our coverage begins at 6:05 right here in your home of the Brewers, WTMJ. The Brewers and shortstop prospect Cooper Pratt agreeing to terms on an 8-year, $50+ million contract. That's according to MLB insider Bob Nightingale. And just a few games left on the Milwaukee Bucks regular season schedule. That includes tonight's tilt against the Dallas Mavericks. Hear that game over on 94.5 ESPN this evening.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 3:37. Coming up next, we're going to talk about this survey. It's a new Monster.com survey. It says employees say they don't want to hear jokes about politics at work. 52%. If you have a story, you can call or text us at 855-616-1620. 855-616-1620. Should we hear jokes about politics at work? Majority, it's pretty much 50-50. It's 52% say that they do not want to hear that. 855-616-1620. That's our setting and limited talk and text line. We'll talk more about it after this.
Can it get any easier? I don't think so. James, you can get an online order done at martyspizza.net in 30 seconds.
And we've made it easy to order all the favorites that a lot of Marty's Pizza lovers gotta have.
Our classic sausage and pepperoni pizza or lasagna and masticholi entrees. They're all delicious. Marty's Pizza in Delafield and martyspizza.net for easy online ordering.
Register online for Red Card Loyalty, and after 15 pizzas, you'll get your next one free!
Pizza. Do you remember when times were good? Well, they're good again. It's as good today as it was in the past. It doesn't get any better than that. Remember Marty's Pizza.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ.
3:39 on WTMJ. So according to a new survey, most employees say they do not want to hear jokes about politics at work. Monster.com survey shows 52% don't want to hear jokes about politics at work. You want to hear some other findings?
I do, Julia.
So this is their workplace laughter report. A national survey of more than 1,000 U.S. workers. Yeah,
and we just come up. We're just paying people to come up with stuff, man.
I would love to do that. Okay, 76% of workers are less likely to joke around their senior leadership.
Should surprise absolutely no one.
And I think that this is just about politics, right? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, can't you joke around a little bit around? You know what? We were at this bowling for babies outing.
Yep, WTMJ Cares initiative.
And I was trying to tell John to tell Vince a funny story. And we had a huge boss next to us, and John's like, I'm not telling that story. I don't remember.
Oh, Julie, always
John
trying to push
Smart.
the buttons.
John Smart. Okay, 32% say their workplace has become more serious over the past year.
That's fair. I can see that. Just now, I'm a little biased on this because I work in a newsroom most of the time. So making light of political matters, or like when a politician says something that's just a little off base, that's kind of just the humor that often curtails in a newsroom.
I know it helps us get through it, right? Or, when we find a huge soundbite or an outrageous soundbite or something, I mean, bouncing off each other, but not using our political leanings. So it's an interesting little line that we cross or not cross.
But to that point of workers saying that their workplace has become more serious over the past year, from people who I don't work with in other fields, I have heard a similar vibe, is that we've kind of curbed back on this. It just doesn't feel like I'm letting loose as much as I normally would, which, depending on the job, maybe you shouldn't be letting loose if you're working in EMS or something like that. But I have heard this tenor before from some of my friends.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and, even with the war that has happened, politics, is always involved in this, but I mean, it feels more heavy in other workplaces as well. 95% say laughter helps them feel more connected to coworkers.
I would agree with that.
That is
too.
a huge number.
That is. That's as close to 100% as most of these surveys, I think, that are compiling this data of 1,000+ people will ever get to just unanimous consent. But it makes sense. I mean, they always say laughter is the best medicine.
It's the highest it's the highest number I've ever seen probably in a survey. Other than that one just the other day, speaking of politics, the one on CNN, did you see that?
Tell me.
No, you didn't see it?
No, I did
John
not.
and I actually saw it live. It was a survey that CNN had of MAGA Republicans, how much they approve of the president. And it was 100% to 0 approve.
Stop the vote.
I mean, is that shocking? But,
no.
So I think the big takeaway is that, you have to read the room.
That's good advice for any climate. I would agree. Yeah, just if you're gonna make a crack, and I've made jokes before, all tasteful, I will say, but that just didn't land. I'm like, nice try. Yeah, come back next time. But yes, read the room and think before you speak. That's a way to get around almost all of these issues we encounter in our workplaces. Take a second, have a little critical thinking, and if it's just you're on the fence about it, just save it.
Yeah, there you go. Good advice, Adam.
Thank you, Julia.
It's 3:43 on WTMJ.
Scratch this off your bucket list. Travel by luxury motor coach to Mount Rushmore this spring. Vince Vitrano here for KB Excursions. From the western charm of Deadwood, the legendary Wall Drug, even a Royal River Casino stop. This 5 nights, 6 days trip includes meals, lodging, and all gratuities. You just have to get on board. The trip is booking now for the end of May. Let KB Excursions be your guide and your ride. Sign up now to head west at kbexcursions.com.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. It's not just a slogan, but the way of life at Gruber Law Offices. If you've been injured, call our team today. We've represented tens of thousands of injured Wisconsinites for more than 30 years. Trust Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
Don't think twice. Call Geis. A great way to add value and curb appeal to your home is with a new LiftMaster or CHI maintenance-free garage door. Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik. A study by Remodelers Magazine reports that the average return on investment is an amazing 82%. Garage doors rank first among all home improvement projects. To see Geis's huge selection of doors, visit their showroom in Brookfield, or you can also visit their online showroom at geisdoors.com. Geis has everything from alley doors to custom wood designer doors and everything in between. Remember, for all your garage door needs, you call Geis at 262-784-4250. That number again, 262-784-4250. It's Geis. Visit them online at geisdoors.com.
Let the Rays bring the sunshine. We'll bring the fireworks.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Yelich, a high drive, deep right, down the line, fair, and gone!
The Brewers look to shut down the Tampa Bay Rays and light up the sky at American Family Field.
Christian Yelich, a 3-run blast.
Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 6:05. We are the home of the Brewers. WTMJ.
Hey, John Mercure here for Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. Their mission is to transform the culture of care. They specialize in caring for those with early to late-stage Alzheimer's or other related dementia symptoms, and they offer early memory loss classes to help you. They specialize in this area. It's kindness at the core, locations throughout southeast Wisconsin. It's compassion, it's empathy. It's Wisconsin-based and family-owned, always welcoming people to come tour and welcome their new residents. I've seen their places. They're top-notch. It's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living.
Traffic is sponsored by Mission 94 Firearms Education Center. Half off all memberships when you sign up this month.
From those with no experience to firearms enthusiasts, all are welcome at Mission 94 Firearms Education Center. Learn the right way to handle firearms. Just Google Mission 94.
3:46 on Wisconsin's afternoon news. Time to check on the roads. A little slick from today's rainy activities. Debbie's got eyes on it. What are you seeing, Deb?
Some delays along southbound 43 coming in from just before Fond du Lac Avenue down through the Marquette and over the high-rise, back on the brakes from Beecher Street down to the KK River crossing. We've also got delays westbound 94 from just west of 27th Street all the way to Hawley Road. The eastbound side's backed up from 70th Street all the way to about 35th. And then on the in English, on the bypass, southbound from Beloit Road down and around the Hale interchange going to be slow past Forest Home. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Still some rain and some rumbles of thunder, some flashes of lightning moving through southeast Wisconsin, mainly right now in Kenosha County. So keep your eyes out if you're heading south through that area this afternoon. Overnight tonight, should be mostly dry. Cloudy skies, a low of 33. Could see a rain-snow mix for your Wednesday. High of just 40 degrees. We'll get back up to 61 on Thursday, but there's more rain looking likely then. Slight chance for rain Friday and 54, then more rain possible Saturday and a high of 54 degrees. Right now, cloudy, a little bit of light rain, and 41 in Milwaukee at 347.
The WTMJ 5-day forecast is brought to you by Infinity Exteriors, your local expert for roofing, siding, and window projects. 3:48 on WTMJ. Jet fuel prices have doubled. Bag fees increasing because of fuel prices. TSA callouts begin decreasing with back pay and more. Alex Stone, ABC News correspondent, has more. Alex.
Hey there, guys. Yeah, so we got new jet fuel data today, and it shows since the beginning of the year, the jet fuel prices have doubled due to oil prices going way up, linked to the war in Iran. The average price of jet fuel starting this week was at $4.62 a gallon, and comparing just back to February 27th, right before the war began, it was at $2.50 a gallon. So double since the beginning of the year, but a big jump from $2.50 a gallon to $4.62 a gallon. In the last couple of weeks, and the airline industry uses 20 billion gallons of jet fuel every year, so any little bump in price, they feel. That is why the CEO of United Airlines last week, when we sat down one-on-one, he was talking about gas prices going up 20% to offset the price across the airlines, not just at United, but yeah, United believes that at this price, let alone if it goes up even more, that they're looking at about $11 billion extra in fuel this year. But United's not alone, and the other airlines, they're raising prices as well. Delta and American saying that they've already spent each about $400 million additional in fuel since the start of the war in Iran. JetBlue today announcing it's increasing checked bag fees to offset the price of fuel. First checked bag is going to be $49 now at peak times, $39 during non-peak times. But it's all real money. For every penny the jet fuel goes up, that is $200 million more for U.S. airlines every time it goes up by a penny, $200 million. So this is, it's really beginning to hit them now, and jet fuel prices are definitely up.
I'm going to be curious to see, Alex, and I know that the data doesn't exist right now, but it will at some point, what travel numbers are going to look like, because it seems like every time we have a holiday, you hear the data comes out, oh, it's a record-setting travel season. But amidst the shutdown, I'll be curious to know when that data comes out, because I see the lines like they were before TSA agents got paid earlier this week. And just, I feel it shows that despite all the price increases, despite the wait lines, people still got to fly. You got to travel.
Yeah, well, and I think some of it will potentially be delayed. You know, people have already bought their tickets for now, so this would be a thing kind of what do we see in the next couple of months into the fall of where people would be buying it now and thinking about what they're going to do and planning trips. But when I was talking to the CEO of United, he said, just look at regular economics here, is that when prices go up, the bookings will go down, and they know that, and that is why they're already reducing the number of flights that they're going to have in the air over the next couple of months, because they know fewer people are going to travel. When things are cheap, people are willing to do it, and even if they've got to pinch pennies, they can afford to go on a trip. But when they get more expensive, people are out, and they're not going to go. That is why there is real concern now in the airline industry that airlines that are not on strong financial footing going into this may not survive whatever this is, assuming that it is long-term, and the airlines believe it is going to be long-term, that oil prices, because of Iran, will be elevated through at least 2027, that those that aren't doing so well, which would be the smaller airlines, that they may not be able to successfully get through this. And Scott Kirby, the United CEO, didn't name individual airlines, but one can assume he's talking about Spirit Airlines, where they've tried to be bought by another airline, and deals have been blocked by the government, and other things have gone on, and that they have gone into bankruptcy and they've furloughed their workers. That some of these airlines that haven't been doing so great in these good times over the last, coming out of the pandemic, as people have wanted to spend money and wanted to travel, that they're going to have a tough time if people cut back their travel during this time of heightened oil prices. But and that, that's just economics 101, if this really does go down the road of being long term.
Gosh, that's terrible. And it was eye-opening when I saw that the overall budget for airlines, 30% is just the jet fuel prices, Alex. And also, we have what's going on with the TSA calling out sick. What's the latest with the percentages of people?
Yeah, you're right. And when the overall budget of an airline, with the larger airlines, it's about 25%, and with low-cost carriers, it's about 30% of their budget goes to fuel. And then now it's going up because of what's going on. But yeah, with the lines, they looked a whole lot better yesterday. They do look good today as well in Houston and other airports that had long lines. But it's not totally back to normal. The TSA gave us new numbers today. Still almost 30% of TSA officers called out sick in Atlanta yesterday, 24% in Houston. That's better than the 40% that it had been, and they were able to get lines down just based on it not being 40% and it being, in the mid-20s. And passengers are noticing. They're saying, yeah, it looks a whole lot better. But still, there's uncertainty there. So some TSA officers are not yet coming back, or they quit completely. But as we talked about yesterday, they still don't know if they're going to get future pay, and the White House doesn't seem to know yet either, based on the president's executive order. If there is not a deal from Congress, and doesn't look like there will be anytime soon as they're on break, that will they get future paychecks from his executive order, or was that only for that lump sum of back pay? And TSA officers say until they know that, and until they get their full back pay, they still didn't get all of it yesterday, and they didn't get overtime and that sort of thing, that some of them say that they're still not coming back. But more are coming back, but it's still not totally business as usual, so still some are calling out sick.
The other thing I think of too, Alex, when you talked about these jet fuel prices that have doubled since the start of the year, is the fact that it's not exactly all clear across the board, but when you think of vehicles, our cars have multiple different types of fuel they can use to drive, whether you have a gas-powered car or an electric-powered car or a hybrid. With jets, the jet flies on jet fuel, so it's not like there's alternative options that these airline companies can go to that may be a little bit cheaper. You got to use what you have.
Yeah, you're right. They use Jet A, and typically that's the only thing that they're going to be using. And the airlines have, from time to time done a ceremonial flight on renewable fuels and different things, but those aren't in reality anything they can really use yet or is commonly available. So they pull up, to a gate, and the fuel truck comes, or they hook it up from the ground, and they get what's in the tanks at that airport, and that's jet fuel. So they've got to pay what the price is. And you're right that we as consumers, if we're filling up our car, that you may be able to make a choice between regular or middle grade or higher grade. They can't do that. But as a Californian, where we're right now paying about $6.30 a gallon on the cheaper side of things, every time I fill up, it's over $100 now, and I'm going regular at that level. And it's expensive even for filling up a vehicle right now as well, though.
Wow. And Alex, one more quick question: is ICE still active with the TSA?
Yeah, so they're still at the airports right now. The White House says that they may extend them at the airports because they like their presence at the airports. They, on a case-by-case basis, will decide what they're going to do, that maybe they'll stay and kind of help out on, law enforcement patrol, that sort of thing. But at the moment, they are still helping out for the TSA mission, even though, again, they can't actually do the TSA mission. They're not trained in or authorized to do magnetometers and the X-ray machines and all of that. So it's more of a support role, but as of now, they're still at the, I think, 14 airports that they were deployed to. It's not everywhere, but they're still at those.
He is ABC's Alex Stone, and he popped up on my Hulu the other day. He's in a Britney Spears special.
Oh.
Yeah.
Explain, please.
Yeah, it's all about the Britney saga.
About her getting a DUI, and her whole saga. So.
And Alex is like the star of the entire episode. It's amazing.
Oh,
Alex Stone, thank you.
All right, bye, guys.
Here's your business headlines.
These are your business headlines from the Milwaukee Business Journal.
Milwaukee-based Interpac Tool Group downsizes its service business in the Europe, Middle East, and Africa region. Executives say the downsizing is due to a softer demand environment exacerbated by the conflicts in the Middle East. Caulfield's Wine Bar and Restaurant closes in West Dallas. The closure comes about 15 months after the business opened at 7413 West Greenfield Avenue. Badger Meter Incorporated invests several $1 million to expand capacity at its Racine plant while preparing to hire more employees at the facility. This comes as the company embarks on manufacturing 1.6 million water meters for Puerto Rico in the next few years. I'm Linda Spice for MilwaukeeBusinessJournal.com on 620 WTMJ.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
You probably don't have to replace those windows. If the frames are intact and it's just the glass that's cracked, or it's foggy, replacing thermal window panes with the help of Less's Glass will save you the cost of total window replacement. When you want to know how much we can save you, all you have to do is measure the height and width of just the glass portion of the window panes. Then send us an email to info@lessglassservice.com and we'll get you an estimate right away. Just be sure to specify if you'd like us to come out and replace your window pane on site, or if you'd like to do it in the most cost-effective way possible by bringing the windows into our shop. Either way, you're saving a lot of money versus a total window replacement that you probably don't need. This is Stacy Sinks with Less's Glass Service. If it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Less's Glass. Less's Glass Service, serving all of southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lessglassservice.com.
Hi, this is Michelle Voskel, CPA and team member at the Neal Group. If 2025 didn't go exactly as planned, you're not alone. You made it through, and that's what counts. Now it's time for taxes, and for a lot of people, that's when the stress kicks in, especially if things got messy along the way. The good news? A rough year doesn't mean a ruined future. We helped Nate fix a tax mess with the IRS created by one of those national firms and saved him $103,000 in penalties, plus another $150,000 in taxes, because we know the tax law. Imagine walking into tax season with a plan, clarity, and someone in your corner who knows the tax law and knows how to use it. You earned it. We help you keep it. Call us now at 414-325-2040 to arrange a meeting to see how we can help you. Don't wait. Call now. That's 414-325-2040 or visit nealgroup.net.
It's springtime, and instead of getting outside and having fun, you have to paint the deck, repair the boards, and discover more rotten wood on your deck. Call Outdoor Living Unlimited to replace the old beaten-down wood deck with a beautiful new composite deck with new railing. Outdoor Living Unlimited is Wisconsin's top TimberTech decking installer and can deliver a design and build your next maintenance-free deck. Stop by our Outdoor Living Unlimited showroom showroom at 665 Larry Court in Waukesha or visit OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or your local CVS. Transform your home today. Exterior Pros. Trust the pros. Traffic is sponsored by Burghardt Sporting Goods, the Midwest's best baseball and softball training facility and retail center. Burghardt Sporting Goods. Visit them today in New Berlin.
Let the Rays bring the sunshine. We'll bring the fireworks.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Yelich, a high drive, deep right, down the line, fair and gone!
The Brewers look to shut down the Tampa Bay Rays and light up the sky at American Family Field. Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 6:05. We are the home of the Brewers. 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
I'm Julia Fellow. This is Wisconsin's Afternoon News for Tuesday, March 31st. Your top story: frustrations rise over the Strait of Hormuz.
I'm Adam Roberts. An American journalist kidnapped in Iraq.
I'm Debbie Lazaga. Southbound on 41. We've got backups just a little bit past Hampton. Beyond that, looks pretty good all the way to the zoo. The northbound side, a little heavier from the Mayfair Road. It's going to be slow all the way up past Capitol Drive. Southbound 43, slowing down from Fond du Lac Avenue through the Marquette. Back on the brakes from about Beecher Street down towards the KK River crossing. Westbound 894 is delayed from 27th Street to Loomis. Southbound 894 from Beloit Road down and around the Hale interchange all the way past 76th Street. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Mostly cloudy tonight, a low of 33. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy and cool, a chance of an evening rain-snow mix, a high of 40 degrees. Right now, Milwaukee, it's cloudy and 41 degrees. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said today the upcoming days will be decisive in the war with Iran. It all comes as President Donald Trump is calling on other U.S. allies to do more to secure the Strait of Hormuz. CBS Natalie Brand.
Video posted on social media shows explosions overnight in Iran near Isfahan, a city with major military targets and one of the country's nuclear sites.
The upcoming days will be decisive. Iran knows that.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the last 24 hours saw the lowest number of missiles and drones fired by Iran, but the regime continues to retaliate.
President Trump again expressed his frustration that other countries are not sending military assets to join the conflict. The Strait of Hormuz remains largely shut.
Meanwhile, an American journalist has been abducted in broad daylight on the streets of Baghdad. ABC's Shannon Kingston has more.
The State Department is working with Iraqi authorities to investigate the kidnapping of American freelance journalist Shelley Kittleson. Surveillance footage from Baghdad shows several unidentified men shoving Kittleson in a vehicle and speeding off. Officials believe the perpetrators may be affiliated with the paramilitary group Kataib Hezbollah. Shannon Kingston, ABC News, the State Department.
Iraq's Interior Ministry said that security forces had managed to arrest one suspect and seize a vehicle used in the abduction.
One person was just arrested after a bomb threat at a church in western Wisconsin. Hudson police responded to the Faith Community Church at about 9:30 this morning to written threats about a bomb. The area was evacuated around the church while they did a search of possible explosive devices. A person of interest is in custody, according to Hudson police, and they say there's no threat to the public.
Teen takeovers making headlines across the country over events here in Milwaukee County.
Moody Park is going to be about 23rd an hour for a large crowd that's forming regarding that park takeover.
That's audio from Broadcastify after a fight breaks out at Moody Park on Milwaukee's north side Monday. Also reports of gunfire in the park. This comes after at least a dozen people were arrested during a similar takeover-style event at Bayshore Mall on Sunday. Milwaukee County Executive David Crawley calling out the behavior Monday in a video posted on his social media accounts.
I want to urge all the parents to stay engaged in your child's life. I mean, look at their social media. Know where they are going, who they're with.
The posts, multiple of them, promoted the takeovers across social media.
The trial of Tremaine Jones starts with opening statements. The man accused of killing Milwaukee police officer Kendall Corder and ambushing Him and his partner, who was also shot. During opening statements, defense attorney Abigail Ruckstashell called Officer Quarter's death a tragedy.
But the one thing that makes this tragedy worse is if we don't have the right person. And it's defense's position here. The state doesn't have the right person.
Assistant District Attorney Grant Hubner says the prosecution has more than enough evidence linking Jones to the shooting last summer. Jones faces 4 felony charges. If convicted, he could face life behind bars.
Some Republican lawmakers pushing to eliminate vehicle emissions testing in southeast Wisconsin.
Congressman and gubernatorial candidate Tom Tiffany says he plans to work with the EPA to secure a waiver that would end Wisconsin's emissions testing requirement. State Representative Bob Donovan argues the program is outdated since today's vehicles are cleaner and more efficient. They also say it puts a financial burden on low-income residents. Emissions testing is required in 7 counties in the southeastern part of the state. Drivers in those areas have to complete mandatory emissions tests every 2 years to renew their registration. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
And Congressman Tiffany will join Wisconsin's Afternoon News coming up in about 10 minutes.
The Brewers are opening up the wallet for a highly rated prospect.
8 years, $50.75 million for 21-year-old Cooper Pratt, a player with 0 major league experience.
This is Jackson Churio Part 2.
Brewers.com writer Adam McCalvey is referencing the 8-year, $82 million contract offered to Jackson Churio in December of 2023, 4 months before his MLB debut.
There's risk involved for both sides for sure. But from the Brewers' point of view, this is what they need to do to compete in a small market and, lock up some of these young, talented players.
Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
Pratt is the Brewers' number 2 rated prospect, according to the MLB pipeline.
Speaking of the Brewers coming up, a pitching debut a year in the making.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 4:07.
WTMJ's Greg Matzik here. Bob Sorens is the reason Sorens Ford became home of the nice guys.
I used to cut Bob's hair. One time I was running very late. In the middle of his haircut, Bob says to me, "If you gotta leave now, it's okay. You can cut the other side when you get back from vacation."
109 years later, you can still feel that nice guy attitude from the Sorens family and the entire team at Sorens Ford in Brookfield. An exceptional buying and service experience, Sorens Ford on Capitol Drive, SOERENS.com.
Accunet Mortgages and Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickert here with my son David, Accunet's president and maestro of metaphor. What do you have for us today?
Dad, buying a home is a lot like having a baby. And it turns out that in today's extra competitive market, getting real estate pregnant with your offer accepted is the hardest part. So along with your agent, your Accunet loan consultant will do everything possible to get your real estate bun in the oven.
Yep, we can definitely help buyers make their offers more competitive. Okay, so once you've made the real estate baby, so to speak, what else do buyers and their agents want?
As a son, now this is getting gross and I regret the metaphor. But the next thing everyone wants are regular checkups and an on-time delivery. That's where Accunet really shines, with proactive weekly updates to reassure the sometimes nervous homeowners-to-be that everything's okay and on track.
It all starts with a rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval, and our home buying clinic is always open. Just click on the blue button at Accunet.com to get started. That's ACCUNET.com.
Brit Floyd, the world's premier Pink Floyd experience show, returns in 2026 with their most spectacular tour to date. The Moon, the Wall, and Beyond. Experience Pink Floyd's iconic masterpiece, The Dark Side of the Moon, the very best of The Wall, and much more. 2 unforgettable nights at Riverside Theater, Friday, May 22nd and Saturday, May 23rd. Get tickets now at PabstTheaterGroup.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Brewers and Rays Game 2 of their 3-game series tonight at American Family Field. And on the mound for your Milwaukee Brewers, Woody making his season debut. Brandon Woodruff, this after shoulder surgery in 2023, required him to miss all of the 2024 season, and he only made 12 starts in 2025.
I know some of the velocity numbers are not like, they're not 96, 97, but just the way I feel physically is last year's not even, it's not even fair to compare to this year.
Meanwhile, the Brewers making some roster moves today. Luis Matos, the recently acquired outfielder from the Giants, moves up to the active roster, while Jefferson Cuero, the catcher, is optioned to AAA Nashville. Meanwhile, Rob Zastryzny and Stuart Baroa also heading to AAA Nashville on rehab assignments. And the Bucks are back On the floor tonight against the Dallas Mavericks. You can hear that game over on 94.5 ESPN because here on WTMJ we will have Brewers Rays beginning at 6:05.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time 4:10.
This report is brought to you by Siding Unlimited. It's siding and a whole lot more. Visit sidingunlimited.com.
It's March and Wisconsin's spring is finally here. Time to upgrade your windows that are failing, drafty, foggy, or just flat out unbearable to deal with. At Siding Unlimited, we install beautiful, energy-efficient windows designed to make your home more comfortable and affordable to maintain. Choose the rich, natural look of wood, the stylish and proven vinyl, or the incredible strength and durability of fiberglass, all built to battle every Wisconsin season. New windows installed by Siding Unlimited don't just transform how your home looks, they help lower energy bills, reduce outside noise, and maximize natural light in every room, making your home brighter on sunny days. Trust the local family-operated Siding Unlimited to be the company of choice for your next window project. Proven to be the best by earning Pella's prestigious Platinum Premier National Certified Contractor of the Year award 5 times. Call Siding Unlimited at 262-567-4513 or visit sidingunlimited.com today.
Wisconsin's Afternoon News is on the air, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, Julia Fellow and Adam Roberts.
Such a joy to have you, Adam.
Joy to be here, Julia.
Okay, I wanted to tell you about a chilling threat that just happened inside a Wisconsin jail. It's raising serious concerns this afternoon. Authorities say that 68-year-old Richard Paul, he's a convicted sex offender. He's now facing new charges. He's accused of threatening to kill a Racine County judge. According to court documents, Paul, who has spent decades behind bars since sexual assault convictions dating back to 1980, he made alarming statements while speaking to a correctional officer. The correctional officer says he has body camera footage that he gave to the court that reportedly captured the moment he became increasingly agitated over a judge's decision to keep him jailed for failing to update information on the sex offender registry. And that's a felony that could put you behind bars for a dozen years with his criminal past. He was convicted of 2 separate first-degree sexual assault cases, by the way, in 1980. Investigators say he lashed out, claiming, and apparently it's on body camera video, according to court records, that he had nothing to lose after nearly 48 years in prison. He's accused of going even further, making explicit threats of violence that would happen inside the courtroom, even suggesting restraints would not stop him. Officials say the threat was serious, direct, and prompted all of this action. He now remains in custody in Racine County Jail. He's scheduled to appear in court as prosecutors are moving forward with yet another charge. So the registry alone could have put him behind bars for a dozen years. This one is just even more. So authorities are taking extra precautions as this case unfolds.
It's an interesting insight. We know judges oftentimes have to deal with all sorts of emotional outbursts. I think of the Taylor Business trial in Green Bay, or that video where the guy jumped over the bench in Las Vegas. I wouldn't want the job. Godspeed to our legal system for doing that work.
Hear, hear. 4:13 on WTMJ. Debbie helps get you home. We have your 5-day forecast. And Congressman Tom Tiffany joins us on Talk and Text line next.
We see you out there coming up with original ideas, which is why you shop at Blaine's Farm and Fleet, because you know when inspiration rises, we'll have what you need to make it happen at prices that make it possible. Get a head start on spring savings with $7 off Estate Crabgrass Preventer, just $29.99, 20% off all Jiffy seed starting accessories, and get $2 off assorted AgriMaster livestock feed. Find the value you need to do things your way. Blaine's Farm and Fleet, being original.
WTMJ's Julia Fellow here for Redo Cabinets. Your kitchen is the heart of the home. Transform it at a fraction of the cost of a complete rebuild. After you book an order, what you want to reface your cabinets with, like a beautiful color, trims, maybe some crown molding, or a beautiful black backsplash, their experienced staff will get it done fast. They can be in and out of your home within 7 days. 7! You don't have to suffer months of waiting for the heart of your home to be done with construction. And for a limited time, Redo Cabinets will give you free premium countertops with every refacing project. Ever dream of a kitchen island? Redo Cabinets can do that as well. All of the materials are made right here in the USA, and Redo Cabinets has family-owned roots for more than 7 decades. This is the way everybody should remodel their kitchen. Get rid of the headache at a fraction of the cost of a total build-out. Head to redocabinets.com. That's redocabinets.com.
You spend more than 2,500 hours a year on your mattress. So let me ask, is yours actually working for you? Hey everybody, it's Jessica Ty. During Steinhoffel's Mattress Madness, it's a perfect time to upgrade your sleep game. Their sleep experts will match you with the right mattress so you wake up feeling rested and ready for the day. Shop all the best brands at unbeatable prices. Plus, get free delivery and a 120-night sleep guarantee. You really can't make a mistake. Shop Mattress Madness today, in-store or online at steinhoffels.com.
Traffic is sponsored by Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center in Waukesha. Whatever the weather, visit wisconsinindoorgolfcenter.com. Visit Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center today for another 2-man scramble tournament. Play at Georgia Golf Club on spacious, state-of-the-art simulators unlike any other.
Must play in March. Cash prizes only. No green jackets.
Traffic and then weather. Debbie Lazica, how are the roads right now?
We got some backups on northbound 41, pretty much from Mayfair Road all the way up to Burleigh, a little bit further north of Capitol Drive as well. Southbound 43 is actually improving. We're seeing delays just through the Marquette itself. And then southbound from Chase down to the KK River crossing. Westbound 94, usual backups from just before 35th Street to Hawley Road. Eastbound slowing down from Hawley to 35th Street. I'm Debbie Laziga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Here is your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Tonight, mostly cloudy, a low of 33. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy and cool. Chance of evening rain snow mix, a high of 40. Rain likely for your Thursday, and windy, a high of 61. Friday, a slight chance of rain, mostly cloudy, a high of 54. Saturday, rain showers are likely, a high of 54. Your 5-day forecast is brought to you by Infinity Exteriors. He is your U.S. representative and wants to be your next governor, Congressman Tom Tiffany. Congressman Tiffany, welcome.
It is good to join you this afternoon.
Thank you. So the reason why you are on Wisconsin's Afternoon News is to talk about how you and other state leaders are pushing to eliminate vehicle emissions testing, pointing to the financial burden that it puts on drivers. But first, we have a government shutdown, and the president's calling on lawmakers to come back to D.C. instead of taking spring break to get a deal done. Are you in Washington, D.C. right now?
I am not. But when I left D.C. last Friday night, we had passed another extension to make sure the government is funded, fully funded, not leaving anything out. And I think this is the third time now, Julia, that we in the House of Representatives have passed a bill that makes sure all of government is funded.
Okay. And the TSA workers are saying that they did get some of their paycheck. You know, on a typical day in Wisconsin, about 20 to 30,000 people are flying in and out of our state. 17,000 of that number is in Milwaukee. So how are you going to get this done and all these federal workers paid again, especially the TSA?
Yeah, we're going to continue to do the same thing that we've been doing in the House of Representatives. We passed these bills to fully fund all of federal government. The shutdowns have happened in the Senate, in particular, led by Senator Schumer, the majority leader. And he has said, we are not going to fund all of government. One of the things that people should be encouraged about is that it was about a month and a half ago, we passed all of the appropriations bills for the first time in over a decade. Now, there were some things that I disagreed with a little bit, and I'm sure others would too. But for the first time, we used regular order to pass all parts of government being funded, including TSA, went over to the Senate, and Senator Schumer said, nope, we're going to pick and choose what is going to get funded, and they shut the government down.
Okay, we only have a limited amount of time. I want to ask you how the governor's race is going. How hard is it to run against more than a half dozen other people on the Democratic side of the gubernatorial ticket?
Oh, I'm not running against the people on the Democrat side of the ticket. They're going to make that decision in August who their candidate is, and then we will do that at that point. What I'm doing is I'm talking to the people of the state of Wisconsin, how we make Wisconsin a great state again. You look at our education, 7 in 10 kids cannot read at fourth grade level, and we have property taxes, largest increase in 30 years back in December. Utility rates among the highest in the Midwest, used to be among the lowest. Wisconsin's headed in the wrong direction in many ways. The good news is it can all be turned around, and that's what I've been talking to people in Wisconsin about. Here's the template for fixing what's wrong with Wisconsin and making us one of the great America once again.
You know, Adam and I, who's next to me, we were at the big, how many people was it, Adam? Like 8 or 9 people with the Democratic Forum that took place in Milwaukee?
Yeah, about 8 or 9.
The biggest audience reaction was about ICE. How would you deal with ICE enforcement if you were governor in Wisconsin?
Yeah, so let's take what happened in Minnesota, Julia, where we had those 2 deaths. We're so unfortunate. And what happened there is that not all levels of law enforcement work together. Here's what I do in Wisconsin. I would take local, county, state, and federal law enforcement, and I would make sure that they're coordinated in their efforts. When you see ICE work effectively in states, it's where they're coordinated with local law enforcement. Everybody is in agreement as far as how they're going to go about doing their work. Remember, ICE only comes into a state when they have someone who needs to be detained that is oftentimes a violent criminal who is here illegally, either committed a violent crime in their home country or here in the United States, and they need to be removed from our country. And that's what states need to do, and most states do that. We'll do the same here in Wisconsin. We'll make sure that all levels are coordinated and that we do it appropriately so it isn't so disruptive as happened in Minnesota.
Congressman Tom Tiffany, Republican gubernatorial candidate, with us on Wisconsin's Afternoon News. You, Congressman, were at the lectern yesterday alongside State Representative Bob Donovan and others, making your push, and it's now part of your gubernatorial platform, to end vehicle emissions testing in southeast Wisconsin, the 7-county area of our state, where every other year you have to go through this right now. I wonder why you're making this platform commitment now. I was looking back at other Republican candidates, and I have not found one that took the stance that you are. Why are you making this push now?
Yeah, Adam, that's a really good question. And so the long and short of it is this was instituted back in 1984, and it's basically Wisconsin paying for Chicago and Indiana's pollution. I think it bears repeating that this is as a result of Chicago and Indiana's pollution drifting north across the southeast corner of Wisconsin, and they put these testing requirements in place in order to deal with that. Well, the problem is in Chicago. It's in Illinois. It is not our problem. Second of all, vehicle emissions have become so much better in the last 40 years since this was implemented in 1984. While this may have been well intended in 1984, it's no longer effective, where most vehicles are not a problem. But we had a gentleman there, I think it was at L&M Garage from North Prairie, who spoke very eloquently about this. He said, I have people that come in with that, check engine light on, and the bill that they end up having to pay is more than the car's worth, and they end up not having a car. And he referred to it as a tax on the poor. And so that's exactly what it is. And it does not hold up with the science now. The Department of Natural Resources says, we're not so sure that this should continue. It's time for this antiquated program to go away. It's costing Wisconsinites in the 7 counties in southeastern Wisconsin far too much money.
Part of your platform on this is collaboration with those states you mentioned, Chicago and Illinois, and then Indiana. You will likely, though, face some pushback, I have to imagine, particularly from Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, if they seem to think that we're levying blame on them for this. How will you work over that potential pushback you may face from those governors to get something done?
Yeah, I think that's an accurate characterization. I think you go to them and, first of all, you take the science to them that shows that this pollution is coming from Chicago and Indiana. And what I would hope to do is, I have a good relationship with Lee Zeldin, who is the head of the Environmental Protection Agency. I will ask them for a waiver. And what I would do is hopefully go in with those two states, Indiana and Illinois, and say, hey, how can we work this out that Wisconsinites are not being penalized? Because remember, as a result of this non-attainment zone in southeastern Wisconsin, the penalty is not just on these drivers with their cars. It also penalizes us in terms of manufacturers cannot make additions because of those strict limits that are put in place as a result of the EPA having this non-attainment zone.
Congressman Tom Tiffany and Republican gubernatorial candidate in the state of Wisconsin with us on Wisconsin's Afternoon News. Congressman, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Adam and Julia.
It's 425 on WTMJ. Let's get a look at the markets now. Your Annex Wealth Management market update. Big day of gains on Wall Street. The Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P 500 all heavily in the green. The Dow, the biggest point winner on the day, up over 1,100 points. The NASDAQ, the big percentage winner, almost at 4% in the green today, and the S&P 500 up about 3% as well. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your car can't express its gratitude when you get an oil change, but the people you're helping will sure appreciate it, because when you visit an Adam member new car dealer through May 16th, they'll donate $1 from every oil change to Feeding America Eastern Wisconsin. To date, Adam has donated more than $960,000, providing 2.8 million meals. To find a participating Adam dealer near you, visit adamm.com. And thank you.
In 1987, the Bucks took on the world and changed basketball forever.
At stake, basketball supremacy in the United States.
Bucks versus the World, narrated by Charlie Behrens, is the new season of Behind the Bucks podcast, presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. It's the untold story of the 1987 McDonald's Open, when the Bucks became the first NBA team to face the Soviet Union. Listen now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and wherever you get podcasts.
Who doesn't need a seasonal wardrobe update? But who has the cash to always keep their wardrobe updated? Ladies, that's why you shop St. Vincent de Paul. Our women's clothing is always a highlight of our stores, and thrift store prices keep the costs low. It allows you to experiment and also find a hidden gem. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it. St. Vincent de Paul.
For those with a warm weather fashion passion, try St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, because that's where you'll find a vast array of men's, women's, girls, and boys' warm weather apparel at the friendliest prices. So many choices, and at such a value. You can fill the closet without draining your wallet. Shop warm weather fashions at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it. St. Vincent de Paul.
So I was talking with another real estate agent who has been in the business even longer than I have, with a couple of other big-name companies. He was talking about how it's tough to compete with us because we have good agents and we charge less commission. And he even said that he lost a few listings to us, and it always bothered him because he realized that he was doing everything that we were doing, but he was charging more. We do charge less, and we do everything that a full-service agency does, because we are full-service real estate agents. The only difference is we give you our very best commission rate up front. You do pay for what you get. And with Century 21 Benefit Realty, for 1.9% on the listing side of your home, with a cap of $19,000 commission on any size home, you can get full-service experienced agents, MLS marketing, professional photos, even virtual walkthroughs, and everything you get from any other big-name agent, all under the umbrella of the Century 21 brand. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
From those with no experience to firearms enthusiasts, all are welcome at Mission 94 Firearms Education Center. The staff is deeply committed to providing a welcoming and engaging environment for everyone at every level. Learn the right way to handle firearms, level up your skills, and experience replica firearms from different historical eras while learning about their role in protecting our freedoms throughout history. Visit veteran-owned and managed Mission 94 in Kenosha today. Check out the 5-star reviews. Just Google Mission 94.
Some of our customers want a glass shower door for the look. Some want it for a better use of their space.
while others need a new glass shower door just to be safe. Like a customer we had last month. Her daughter had been hounding her to turn that old bathtub of hers into a walk-in shower. She was afraid her mother might slip when there was no one around to help her. Stepping over that bathtub wall isn't exactly safe. And besides, those old bathtub floors can be kind of slippery too. Installing a new glass shower door is pretty affordable. And not only is it safer, but it also gives your bathroom a great new look. And when you stop in our showroom, you'll see just how many options we have to give you the look you want. This is Stacy Sinks with Less's Glass Service. And glass and mirrors have been our business for over 35 years. So if it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Less's Glass. Less's Glass Service, serving all of southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lessglassservice.com.
Scratch this off your bucket list. Travel by luxury motor coach to Mount Rushmore this spring. Vince Vitrano here for KB Excursions. From the western charm of Deadwood, the legendary Wall Drug, even a Royal River Casino stop. This 5 nights, 6 days trip includes meals, lodging, and all gratuities. You just have to get on board. The trip is booking now for the end of May. Let KB Excursions be your guide and your ride. Sign up now to head west at kbexcursions.com.
Traffic is sponsored by TaybackAttorneys.com. Social Security benefits denied? Call Tayback for the payback. Unable to work due to health problems? Let Tayback help you get approved for the Social Security benefits you're entitled to. Call Tayback for the payback. TaybackAttorneys.com.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
I'm Julia Fellow. Your top story this half hour: gas prices rise as the war with Iran continues.
I'm Adam Roberts. Witness testimony ongoing at the Milwaukee County Courthouse.
I'm Debbie Lazaga. Southbound on Highway 100, right about at I-94. We have a crash there. You might have to expect some lane closures through there on southbound Highway 100. Eastbound 94 is looking okay. You've got your usual backups from just before 70th Street all the way to 35th. Westbound is backed up from 27th Street to Hawley Road. And southbound 43, watch for delays right through the Marquette interchange and over the high-rise bridge, pretty much all the way down to about the KK River. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Lows dropping into the mid-30s tonight as rain continues to work out of southeast Wisconsin, still lingering in our Kenosha County listeners area. Mostly cloudy and cool then for your Wednesday with a high of 40 degrees. Right now, 41 in Milwaukee at 432.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, nationwide gas prices have jumped past an average $4 a gallon for the first time since 2022. That was the last time Americans paid this much for gas after Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Drivers in Chicago and Washington say they're changing their habits.
It's just ridiculous. I got 10 gallons for $50. It's just this whole war situation. It's just causing everything to go up.
This is the highest, that I've seen in a very, very long time, if not ever.
As a dad, as I drive a lot, and so I'm trying to be more strategic with my driving.
Here in Milwaukee, the average cost of gas is $3.37 to $3.73 per gallon.
Witnesses for the prosecution continuing testimony this afternoon in the trial of the man accused of killing Milwaukee police officer Kendall Corder. On the witness stand, Officer Sarah DeLeon testified about finding a black backpack near the crime scene.
That is the work identification card that we found inside the backpack on scene.
Is there a name associated with it?
There is.
What is that name?
Tremaine Jones.
The 23-year-old Jones facing 4 felony charges in the death of Officer Corder after Jones allegedly ambushed Corder and his partner Christopher McCrae in an alley last summer. If convicted of all charges, Jones faces life in prison.
The Supreme Court sided with a Colorado counselor in a challenge to the state's ban on conversion therapy for minors. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson was the lone dissenter. CBS Jared Hill.
In an 8-1 decision, the justices ruled the law, which bars any practice or treatment to change a child's sexual orientation or gender identity, raises concerns about free speech.
What we have is a court who thinks that this particular law limits not just the subject matter people can talk about, but the view they can express.
The case stems from a 2022 lawsuit brought by Kaylee Childs, a Christian licensed therapist who performs faith-informed counseling. She argued Colorado's ban violated her First Amendment right.
Several major medical groups, including the American Medical Association and American Academy of Pediatrics, have been critical of conversion therapy, considering it ineffective and harmful.
Meanwhile, Governor Tony Evers vetoing 5 bills that aim to restrict gender-affirming medical care and athletic participation for transgender youth in the state.
Republican lawmakers sponsored the measures. They say they were meant to protect children. Evers argues the bills would make Wisconsin less safe and less inclusive for the LGBTQ community. The governor vetoed the bills on International Transgender Day of Visibility. Elizabeth Linton in WTMJ News.
Recent outbreaks of bird flu causes a Wisconsin company to temporarily lay off workers. For 5 to 7 months, 87 employees are affected at Daybreak Foods, operates the Cold Spring Farm in Palmyra, and SNR Farms in Whitewater. The USDA required the plants to depopulate the company's birds at the facilities because of the viral outbreak. The company hopes to bring affected employees back by October.
Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson, in his 2026 State of the City, included harsh criticism of the Trump administration.
Mayor Johnson slammed the president's immigration policy.
Immigrants make Milwaukee stronger.
And refusal to help Wisconsin pay for infrastructure repairs after historic flooding.
It was illogical and neglectful that the president didn't allow for public assistance to local governments.
But Johnson ended with a positive note on local connections.
I can confidently say the relationship between Milwaukee City government and Milwaukee Public Schools is stronger than at any time in decades.
Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Brewers and Rays Game 2 of the series tonight at American Family Field. The Crew aiming to bounce back after their loss to Tampa Bay Monday night. Big night on the mound for Milwaukee. Brandon Woodruff making his first start of the season. Woodruff with major shoulder surgery in 2023. He was shut down in September of last season.
Physically, I feel good. I was able to have a full off season. I knew it was going to take me 2 years or more to kind of feel normal again, and it truly has taken that long.
Our coverage of tonight's game begins at 6:05 right here on your home of the Brewers, WTMJ. ESPN Shams Charania reporting Doc Rivers, Bucks head coach, among the members to be inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame class of 2026. Speaking of the Bucks, they've got 8 games left on their regular season schedule, including tonight against the Mavericks. Hear the game over on 94.5 ESPN, beginning at 7 o'clock.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 4:37.
Get new Pella windows and doors with 0% interest until 2032. PellaWI.com. Wisconsin homes ask a lot of their windows and doors. With our unpredictable weather, they need to perform in every season, year after year. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, we build everything around quality, durability, and long-term comfort. And right now, we're making long-term comfort easier than ever. Order today and get 0% interest until 2032. Not just a few years, 0% interest all the way until 2032. That means you can upgrade your home now and pay over time without paying a dime in interest. From your free in-home consultation to expert installation, Pella's local team is with you every step of the way, helping you choose the right products for your home, your style, and your budget. And with our 10-year limited warranty, you can feel confident long after installation day. 0% interest until 2032. Set your free on-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 3/31/2026.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ.
Adam Roberts, Julia Fellow with you on Wisconsin's afternoon news, taking you right up until 6 o'clock in Brewers baseball tonight. Julia, has not been a great few days here in Milwaukee County, especially on the national scale. Our county is making headlines on Fox News, the New York Post, over this recent rash of takeover events held at county parks last night and at Bayshore Mall on Sunday. Audio there from our partners at TMJ4 News. They were at Moody Park on the city's north side yesterday. This was yesterday afternoon, about 23rd an hour. Moody Park, a county park within Milwaukee, where hundreds of teens had gathered, as they have been in recent spats, not just in Milwaukee, but across the country as well. But we've seen it now the last 2 days at Bayshore and in the city. it's interesting also, we got a notice in our inbox about a planned takeover right here where we're at, 3rd Street Market Hall. And you and I have a good view of the Market Hall. We are in good hands. We've got plenty of police officers. There is a presence downtown. There's vehicles. We've seen people doing patrols, and business is going on as usual. So if you do have plans to come to the Market Hall, I'm not going to say don't do it, because business is running as usual. Everyone's open and it's fine. But this is not a good look, especially when we've seen, despite it happening in other cities, whenever it's your city that is making these headlines, and we tout so much about how our area is a great place to be, and then this sort of stuff, it taints us on the national scale.
I mean, and it's not just, teens, a takeover, just walking around. I mean, there's fights that are breaking out. The police were getting in, trying to take a teen down in the middle of, what was that, Port Washington Avenue in front of Bayshore Town Center over the weekend. Shots were fired. I mean, it's incredible. I thought it was called teen takeover. The lingo is takeover. Now, if you text WATCH to 855-616-1620, what are we looking at right now? What is this?
So this is, first of all, it's AI. So if you're looking right now, if you text WATCH to our Setting Unlimited Talk and Text on, you'll see one of these social media flyers that is promoting, this is the one for last night at Moody Park. There was a similar one last week for the Bayshore event, if that's what you want to call it. There have been other ones as well, too. Now, if you look at what we've put up here on our live stream, you may say, well, did you cut off part of the banner? I did, because I can't share the word. It's the F word that was put on this poster as well. But there's multiple of these on multiple accounts, which is making this difficult because, first of all, they're all AI. They're all clearly not like someone didn't actually make these. So they're being mass generated. And what's so hard is you don't know which are legit, which are possibly a distraction from something else, which are completely bogus. And right now across social media, if you just search Milwaukee takeover, you will see similar AI slop, I'll just call it what it is, all over our social media accounts right now.
Good vibes only, Moody Park takeover, we litty. Lit? Is that it?
Yes, another version of that. Okay. Sorry, we're not up completely with the lingo.
I have no idea.
So, right. But I keep coming back to this. So remember recently we had Tori Lowe, our friend from over on 1017 The Truth. We were talking about the city's Department of Community Wellness and Safety and the wait right now to get their interim director, Karen Tyler, nominated because some city leaders say that she's not cut for the cloth for the job. But this is an opportunity, even if you're not in that full-time position, to lead. I haven't heard anything from Milwaukee County Sheriff Danita Ball on this. This happened. Moody Park is a county park. This was your jurisdiction, and you did have officers there. But I haven't heard even just a token, hey, we got to be better. We hear it all the time. Got to be better, got to be better. And I know you can't solve anything from a lectern or at a microphone. A press conference is not the solution. But the people you serve want to know that there's some kind of plan if we're going to see this activity continuing, as we typically see when the weather's warm, is another thing we like to throw out. So just, I guess, be better all around.
True.
All around.
It's 4:43 on WTMJ.
Brit Floyd, the world's premier Pink Floyd experience show, returns in 2026 with their most spectacular tour to date. The Moon, the Wall, and Beyond. Experience Pink Floyd's iconic masterpiece, The Dark Side of the Moon, The Very Best of the Wall, and much more. 2 unforgettable nights at Riverside Theater, Friday, May 22nd and Saturday, May 23rd. Get tickets now at PabstTheaterGroup.com.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
We know for small business advertisers, every dollar counts. And that's why you hear our advertisers over and over on this station, as well as every other Milwaukee radio station. Because the power of repetition is real. Go to the Our Clients page of Anderson-Smith.com and see just how many you're familiar with. And check out their real advertising success stories. You'll learn why our clients stay with us for years and years. Anderson-Smith.com. We help small business advertisers get better results. We know you work hard to make your small business the best it can be. And we understand you deserve to have your advertising work as hard as you do. That's why we focus on only the most efficient ways to assure your ad message makes the most impact it possibly can. With millions of dollars in annual billing and dozens of satisfied clients, Anderson Smith has the leverage and know-how to amplify your advertising. Go to Anderson-Smith.com, email me, and I'll call you in short order. Because it's time we grow your business.
Hi, this is Mike from Infinity Exteriors. Most contractors cut corners and disappear when there's a problem. Not us. Since 1997, we've completed over 60,000 projects, earned thousands of 5-star reviews, and were named 2025 Roofing Magazine Contractor of the Year. We set the standard for exterior remodeling. Trusted by homeowners, proven every single day. We're excited to show you why choosing Infinity means peace of mind. Visit infinityexteriors.com to see why your neighbors trust Infinity.
Be our eyes on the road. See something out there that I should know about?
Yeah, Debbie, this is Dan. South of K, there's a car fire in the southbound lane closing off 3 lanes.
Call me, Debbie Lazaga, on the WTMJ traffic tip line, 414-238-9329.
Hey, Debbie, just calling in. There's 2 separate accidents, 94 westbound.
The drive affects you. Why not be part of it?
There was an accident. There's already 4 cops there and an ambulance.
Give me a call, 414-238-9329.
Traffic is sponsored by Rejuvenix Arthritis Pain Clinics. Go to rejuvenix.com for an appointment.
Go to rejuvenix.com to request your appointment.
446 on WTMJ. Let's get a look at the roads. Debbie Lazaga, how are we shaking?
Got a couple of accidents. One on southbound Highway 100 at Center Street. The 2 right lanes are blocked right now. And then another one on Highway 100 southbound right near I-94. So that one is, looks like they may have to close off a lane there with that one as well. Just be careful heading past those scenes. Northbound on 41, backing up from Mayfair Road up to Burleigh. On the eastbound side of 94, backing up from about 84th Street all the way through to about 35th. Westbound's backed up just west of 27th Street all the way to Mitchell Boulevard. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Mostly cloudy this evening, a low of 33. Cloudy, cool. Chance for an afternoon rain-snow mix on Wednesday. 40 degrees the high. Quite a dip from these last couple of days. But we'll be back into the 60s on Thursday, though it'll be a windy, rainy 61. Slight chance for rain Friday and 54. Same temp Saturday with rain showers likely. 40 degrees in Milwaukee at 447.
Doctor, doctor, give me the news I got.
Here we're welcome to medical briefing. The topic today is a disease that affects nearly 1 million Americans, end-stage kidney disease. We have with us on Talk and Text line the president and CEO of the Medical College of Wisconsin, Dr. John Raymond, with us. Dr. Raymond, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Julia. Glad to be here.
What is end-stage kidney disease?
Yeah, thanks for the question. As you mentioned, there are nearly 1 million people in the U.S. that have it, and it's also called end-stage renal disease, and that describes a condition in which our kidneys have failed to such a point that they can no longer keep someone alive without some sort of intervention, either medical or surgical. And usually those interventions either require a kidney transplantation or some type of dialysis treatment. So about 560,000 people in the U.S. are currently on some form of dialysis treatment, and we have about 270,000 people that are living with a kidney transplant. And that's a lot of people. And each year, about 130,000 new patients in the United States develop end-stage kidney disease. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, because many people have milder forms of kidney disease. It's highly prevalent in the U.S., maybe more than 1 in 7 people in our country. An estimated 36 million Americans have some form of kidney disease. And for Americans that have diabetes or high blood pressure, these are the 2 most common causes of kidney disease. Their risk for chronic kidney disease or end-stage disease is even greater.
What are the main causes of chronic kidney failure, specifically here in the United States, Dr. Raymond?
Yeah, thank you. About 70% of the cases of end-stage kidney disease in the U.S. are directly attributed to either diabetes or high blood pressure. Those are the two major causes. Other causes are varied. They include family history, genetic causes, toxic exposures, autoimmune diseases, and sometimes more acute diseases such as a crush injury or prolonged shock. And the disease does disproportionately affect certain groups. If you're a man, you have a 60% higher incidence of end-stage kidney disease than if you're a woman. Black or African American individuals account for 30% of the total end-stage kidney disease population, obviously a very significant and bad overrepresentation. Black Americans are nearly 4 times more likely to develop end-stage kidney disease than white Americans, and Hispanic and Native American populations are maybe twice as likely as Caucasians to develop end-stage kidney disease.
So, Dr. Raymond, what happens to our body if our kidneys fail?
Yeah, thank you so much. Really great question. I think most of us think of the kidney as a big filter. It filters water, toxic metabolites, electrolytes, and various substances. And that is true, but the kidney is also very highly metabolically active. It's involved in processing and creating hormones that are important for bone health, brain health, heart health, and et cetera. So basically, when the kidney starts to fail, you have trouble concentrating your urine, so you may either have a decrease or an increase in urine output. You have difficulty clearing acids from your body, toxins that build up just during normal metabolism, and electrolytes like potassium, magnesium, calcium, and phosphorus. When your kidney starts to fail, it also accelerates the development of cardiovascular disease. It's very unhealthy for the heart to have kidneys that aren't working properly. And then, as I mentioned, the kidney filters and manages phosphorus and calcium. And so kidney disease can cause deterioration of your overall bone health. Just in terms of symptoms, one of the problems with kidney disease is you basically don't feel symptoms until you have very, very advanced kidney failure, and that's why screening is so important. But when you do get close to the end stages of kidney disease, it can manifest with weakness, fatigue, loss of appetite, nausea, as I mentioned, decreased urination, shortness of breath, easy bruising, severe itching, lethargy, and even in severe cases, maybe difficulty thinking.
Dr. John Raymond with us on Wisconsin's Afternoon News. So then, in response to kidney function, Dr. Raymond, what then is dialysis? Explain the term, because we hear the word all the time, but it's always good to be reminded of what it actually is.
Yeah, dialysis is actually in many ways miraculous. It is the only out-of-body or extracorporeal organ replacement therapy that we have. And so it is quite amazing. But basically, you have an artificial kidney, and actually some of the early ones were developed here by Alice Chalmers in Milwaukee, that filters the blood. It helps remove toxins. It manages the electrolytes. And when hooked up to a certain type of machine, can also very carefully manage the amount of fluid that you are able to excrete. And when people develop the end stages of kidney disease, they often have difficulty with retention of fluid. What dialysis does not replace, though, are the hormone effects that you have that manage your bone health and your cardiovascular health. Those need to be managed separately through medications.
Interesting. And what about transplantation?
Transplantation is actually a superior form of treatment. It gives the patient more freedom to be able to go about their normal life, because dialysis, if you do in-center hemodialysis, you're really committed to about a 4-hour treatment 3 times a week. But it does, obviously, transplantation requires a donor. It requires a significant surgery, and there's a very significant upfront cost to transplantation. In that first year after transplantation, you're probably spending twice as much as you would on maintenance hemodialysis. But the quality of life with a transplant is much better. Here's the problem, though. We have about 90,000 people on the waiting list to get a kidney transplantation, and we only have about 30,000 organs available each year.
So ultimately then, Dr. Raymond, you've laid out costs, you've laid out what it's like to go through kidney failure. What is the bottom line?
Yeah, the bottom line is, as I mentioned, dialysis, the end-stage renal disease is caused primarily by diabetes and high blood pressure. These are treatable, preventable chronic diseases. So it's very important to manage those carefully. Also, for individuals that have a family history, you want to be screened. You want to measure protein in your urine. There's a simple blood test that can measure your kidney function. And if you do have early stages of kidney disease, referral to a nephrologist, an expert in managing kidney diseases, is absolutely essential. There are new medications now that we didn't have even a few years ago that slow down the progression of chronic kidney disease. Some of those you know of, GLP-1 drugs, angiotensin receptor blockers, ACE inhibitors, calcium channel blockers, and more recently, SGL2 drugs. So my main message is, if you have one of those diseases or a risk factor, get screened. If you have early evidence of kidney failure, you need to see a nephrologist.
Before we let you go, Dr. Raymond, let us out of here with some good news of the week.
Yeah, there's some really good news. Governor Evers signed a bill, Senate Bill 676 and Assembly Bill 651, that extends PTSD workers' compensation benefits that we have always given to law enforcement and full-time firefighters. It now includes emergency medical service practitioners, volunteer firefighters, and other first responders. And these are people that take care of us, and they deserve to have that benefit. So this was a bipartisan bill, broad support in both parties and across both houses, and it was signed into law by Governor Evers.
Oh, that's good. That is very good news. Dr. John Raymond is the president and CEO of the Medical College of Wisconsin. Dr. Raymond, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Here's your business headlines.
These are your business headlines from the Milwaukee Business Journal.
Milwaukee-based Interpac Tool Group downsizes its service business in the Europe, Middle East, and Africa region. Executives say the downsizing is due to a softer demand environment exacerbated by the conflicts in the Middle East. Caulfield's Wine Bar and Restaurant closes in West Dallas. The closure comes about 15 months after the business opened at 7413 West Greenfield Avenue. Badger Meter Incorporated invests several $1 million to expand capacity at its Racine plant while preparing to hire more employees at the facility. This comes as the company embarks on manufacturing 1.6 million water meters for Puerto Rico in the next few years. I'm Linda Spice for MilwaukeeBusinessJournal.com on 620 WTMJ.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
So I was talking with another real estate agent who has been in the business even longer than I have, with a couple of other big-name companies. He was talking about how it's tough to compete with us because we have good agents and we charge less commission. And he even said that he lost a few listings to us, and it always bothered him because he realized that he was doing everything that we were doing, but he was charging more. We do charge less, and we do everything that a full-service agency does, because we are full-service real estate agents. The only difference is we give you our very best commission rate up front. You do pay for what you get, and with Century 21 Benefit Realty for 1.9% on the listing side of your home, with a cap of $19,000 commission on any size home, you can get full-service experienced agents, MLS marketing, professional photos, even virtual walkthroughs, and everything you get from any other big-name agent, all under the umbrella of the Century 21 brand. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
For Comfort Awnings in Burlington. They are your awnings and screenings experts. They serve all of southeast Wisconsin and northern Illinois. And then they come out and they measure your home to see what type of awning or screens would work perfectly for your home. I had them come out and do that for my home, not last summer, but the summer before, and they were able to help me choose the colors and the fabrics and the type of awning. I've got an automated one where I just hit a button and it comes sliding out and it increases my living space. I love it. It covers my patio and it makes it so comfortable just to sit out in the backyard and relax. Now, obviously, as spring is slowly making its way here, now is a great time to get your awning installed and have it ready for once the temperatures kind of warm up and things start looking a little bit better out there. You want this extension of living space. You really don't realize you need it until you get it, and you're like, oh, where were you all my life? They're local and family owned. They pride themselves on awesome customer service. Any question you have, they can help you out. And they got a great offer right now until the end of the day today. You can receive a free motor with the purchase of any retractable awning or screen. No cranking. Call 414-AWNINGS for a free estimate or visit comfortawnings.com.
Picture this, a perfect summer evening, great friends, and dinner on the patio overlooking a beautiful course. That's Racine Country Club. More than golf, it's a place to relax, gather, and belong. A new energy is here, and you're invited to experience it. From great food to unforgettable events, it's a lifestyle built around community. Whether it's a quick night after work, dinner with friends, or a weekend with family, Racine Country Club offers something for everyone, year-round. Discover what's new at Racine Country Club. Visit RacineCountryClub.com. Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or your local CVS.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Traffic is sponsored by TaybackAttorneys.com. Veterans benefits denied? Call Tayback for the payback. Brave Americans who served shouldn't be denied benefits or have a disability claim incorrectly evaluated by the VA. If you're one of those vets, call Tayback for the payback. TaybackAttorneys.com.
Let the rays bring the sunshine. We'll bring the fireworks.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Yelich, a high drive, deep right, down the line, fair, and gone!
The Brewers look to shut down the Tampa Bay Rays and light up the sky at American Family Field. Our Brewers Radio Network game day coverage starts tonight at 6:05. We are the home of the Brewers. 620 WTMJ, Milwaukee.
I'm Julia Fellow. This is Wisconsin's Afternoon News for Tuesday, March 31st. Your top story, a decisive week for the war in Iran.
I'm Adam Roberts. A trial for a police officer's murder wraps up its second day.
I'm Debbie Lazaga. We've got a couple of accidents to deal with, both on Highway 100 southbound. One of them is at Center Street. The two right lanes are blocked with that one. And then the other one is closer to I-94 off on the right shoulder. So you do want to be extra careful heading past those scenes. Onto the freeway, we've got delays on eastbound 94 from 70th Street all the way to 35th. The westbound is slowing down from 35th Street all the way past Mitchell Boulevard. Southbound 43 slowing down right through the Marquette and onto the high-rise bridge. Northbound 41 slow between Mayfair Road and Burleigh. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Mostly cloudy tonight, a low of 33 degrees. Tomorrow, cloudy and cool, a chance of evening rain snow mix, a high of 40 degrees. Right now, Milwaukee, it's mostly cloudy and 42 degrees. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said today, the upcoming days will be decisive in the war with Iran. It comes as President Donald Trump is calling on other U.S. allies to do more to secure the Strait of Hormuz. CBS Natalie Brand.
Video posted on social media shows explosions overnight in Iran near Isfahan, a city with major military targets and one of the country's nuclear sites.
The upcoming days will be decisive. Iran knows that.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the last 24 hours saw the lowest number of missiles and drones fired by Iran, but the regime continues to retaliate.
President Trump again expressed his frustration that other countries are not sending military assets to join the conflict. The Strait of Hormuz remains largely shut.
An American journalist still missing after being abducted in broad daylight on the streets of Baghdad in Iraq.
Is working with Iraqi authorities to investigate the kidnapping of American freelance journalist Shelley Kittleson. Surveillance footage from Baghdad shows several unidentified men shoving Kittleson in a vehicle and speeding off. Officials believe the perpetrators may be affiliated with the paramilitary group Kataib Hezbollah. Shannon Kingston, ABC News, the State Department.
Iraq's Interior Ministry said security forces had managed to arrest at least one suspect and seized a vehicle used in the abduction.
Prosecution continued their witness testimony in the trial of a man accused of killing Milwaukee police officer Kendall Corder. Officer Sarah DeLone testified about finding a black backpack near the crime scene.
That is the work identification card that we found inside the backpack on scene.
Is there a name associated with it?
There is.
What is that name?
Tremaine Jones.
23-year-old Tremaine Jones faces 4 felony charges in the death of Officer Corder after he allegedly is accused of ambushing Corder and his partner in an alley last summer.
Some Republican lawmakers pushing to eliminate vehicle emissions testing in Wisconsin.
Congressman and gubernatorial candidate Tom Tiffany says he plans to work with the EPA to secure a waiver that would end Wisconsin's emissions testing requirement. State Representative Bob Donovan argues the program is outdated since today's vehicles are cleaner and more efficient. They also say it puts a financial burden on low-income residents. Emissions testing is required in 7 counties in the southeastern part of the state. Drivers in those areas have to complete mandatory emissions tests every 2 years to renew their registration. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
A canine found a stolen gun in West Bend.
A 21-year-old man from West Dallas allegedly stole a gun while visiting a home near Wayne Road and North 13th Avenue on West Bend's northwest side. He fled on foot from police and was eventually arrested, but police found a different gun on him. So K-9 Officer Flash was brought in and located the stolen gun completely hidden in a pile of leaves about 200 feet from West Bend High School. The suspect was arrested on charges of theft, carrying a concealed weapon, and being armed while intoxicated. Elizabeth Linton in WTMJ News.
MLB insider Bob Nightingale is reporting the Brewers and shortstop prospect Cooper Pratt are agreeing to terms on an 8-year, $50+ million contract.
The deal is not without risk for both sides.
From the player's point of view, it's the risk of leaving a whole lot of millions on the table.
Brewers.com writer Adam McKelvey. The Brewers risk sinking millions into a player with zero MLB experience.
You know, if you're a team like Milwaukee in one of the smaller markets, the economics are what they are in baseball right now. You have to find different kind of ways to lock up talent.
Pratt begins the season at AAA, but could be on a fast track to the Brewers.
That's what they did for Jackson Churio.
Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
And speaking of the Brewers, coming up next, Woody's back.
Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 5:06.
3 generations ago, it was about doing one thing and doing it right.
Hardwood, tile, carpet, floors that had to last because our name, Adair, was on them. Over time, homeowners asked us to do more. Kitchens, bathrooms, full remodels. And so our name changed to Adair Floors and Remodeling.
But flooring has always been the foundation, literally.
And it's something the next generation already understands.
Hi, I'm Ava. Hi, I'm Quinn. My dad does floors.
From hardwood and luxury vinyl plank to tile and carpet, we handle selection, layout, and professional installation.
And because we also remodel homes, we know how flooring works with everything else. Transitions, finishes, and long-term durability.
When you hire Adair, you're getting experience you can stand on and people who will be here for decades to come.
Call my dad. Bye-bye.
Adair Floors and Remodeling. Built on flooring, trusted for remodels. 3 generations, 1 standard. Call us at 414-761-3660 for your free flooring estimate.
Tax season is here. Smart planning starts right now. Let's set you up for success with today's tax tips from our trusted friends at the Neal Group.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA and founder of the Neal Group, with today's tax tip. Why give the government an interest-free loan? I know many people use their tax refund as a type of forced savings, but there are other ways to save. Adjust your withholding to keep that money and earn interest or dividends for yourself. You earned it. We help you keep it. For more tips or if you have questions, visit nealgroup.net or call 414-325-2040. That's NEAL group.net.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Brandon Woodruff making his season debut on the mound tonight for your Milwaukee Brewers. Brewers raise Game 2 of the series at American Family Field. Woodruff with shoulder surgery in 2023. That required him to miss all of the 2024 season, and he only made a dozen starts last year.
I know some of the velocity numbers are not like, they're not 96, 97, but just the way I feel physically is last year's not even it's not even fair to compare to this year.
Woody getting the nod tonight. Our coverage begins at American Family Field right after Wisconsin's afternoon news, 6:05 here on your home of the Brewers, WTMJ. Some NFL news at team owners meetings today. The owners unanimously approving the Jacksonville Jaguars to play in Orlando for the 2027 season as they get ready to build a, quote, stadium of the future. that the team will occupy in 2028. And back here at home, Milwaukee Bucks back on the floor tonight. They take on the Dallas Mavericks. With our Brewers coverage here, you can hear the Bucks game tonight over on our sister station 94.5 ESPN.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 5:09.
At Blaine's, we know you do things your way, so why shop the same retail giants as everyone else when you can easily find the trusted farm essentials you need for spring at unbeatable farm and fleet prices? Like $40 off a 15-piece Milwaukee combo wrench kit, save $50 on a basement watchdog sump pump, and a 16-inch power tool storage rack is on sale, just $24.99. In store or online, we've got the value you need to do things your way. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At Milwaukee Weight Loss, we know the secret. Our doctor-developed, easy-to-follow weight loss program helps you lose weight fast, naturally and safely, and with no drugs or injections with risk of serious side effects, no prepackaged meals, bars, shakes, and no exercising required. Our program helps reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good with a coach for ongoing support. Our program costs up to half as much and works up to twice as fast as most other programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com to schedule your free consultation.
Debbie Loziga here, and I'm so happy with what has been going on with the Milwaukee Weight Loss Program. They've held my hand through everything, and I'm already down over 20 pounds. Many patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. That's about a pound per day. And for limited time, get $200 off with their spring special. Book your free consultation at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
Results may vary.
Kessler's Diamonds.
Wisconsin's afternoon news is on the air, broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. Here are your hosts, Julia Fellow and Adam Roberts.
5:11 on Wisconsin's afternoon news. Adam Roberts in for John Mercure. He will be back tomorrow, by the way, so the gang will all be back together alongside Julia Fellow here for the next roughly hour before Brewers baseball tonight. I wanted to revisit this again. We talked a little bit about it in the 4 o'clock hour. It's making headlines all across our city and Milwaukee County. This rash of takeover style events that has been happening, especially these last couple of days. Now, you're hearing a lot about it right now. You're seeing it in the headlines. Every TV crew has their people all over the place on this. And not for nothing. The event last night in Moody Park on Milwaukee's north side, hundreds of teens gathering, fights breaking out, shots being fired. Not good. This is, however, not new either. We have seen these sort of similar events unfold in other cities across the country over the last roughly year or so. You could arguably even go back further.
Interesting.
But now it's here.
Yep, now
it's here, and we have to deal with it. And I've been thinking a little bit about this. We're seeing kind of the typical cast of characters now responding to this. Your community leaders, alder people, Milwaukee County Executive David Crowley posting a video on his social media hours before the Moody Park takeover happened yesterday.
We're not telling you to stay inside all week and not to hang out with your friends. I wouldn't. We want you to have fun. We want you to enjoy your break, but we have to do it safely.
And Milwaukee now making headlines across the country for this as well. And as I think about all of this, Julie, I think about what our teammate 1017 The Truth's Tori Lowe does and how much work he does in the community. And I think of putting the energy we do into these sorts of things and hundreds of teens showing up. I wonder how many will show up for his community cleanup coming up in a couple of weeks, April 18th. Seems like a good source of your energy to pick up trash and make your community better. It's just a thought. It's coming up in a few weeks here.
That's such a good point, Adam. When is it again and where?
April 18th. It'll be on, you can look up ToriLowCleanup.com for the official locations. They usually just hits a couple of spots, so I don't want to say it's only going to be here. It'll probably be at multiple places across Milwaukee. But a good idea.
That is perfect. 5:13 on WTMJ. CBS News Chief Washington correspondent and anchor of The Takeout with CBS News, Major Garrett, joins us after Debbie helps get you home.
You can explore Wisconsin's wild places, learn about wildlife, and support conservation on the Natural Resources Foundation of Wisconsin field trips. This spring through fall, adults and families have more than 270 trips to choose from all over the state. Registration opens on April 8th at wisconservation.org. Sponsored by the Natural Resources Foundation of Wisconsin.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after. An in-depth recap of every Bucks game in 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus audio network. If you missed any of the game or just want to relive the biggest moments, Bucks in 6 provides game recaps every morning after. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis or the deep threes from Miles Turner. And catch the comments post-game about what happened on the court. Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus audio network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Academic Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 255368.
Don't settle for a flimsy bank pre-approval. Get the pre-approval listing agents and sellers recognized as better than the rest. The rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval from AccuNet. Get yours by clicking on the blue button at accunet.com.
Keep the comfort in and the weather out with beautiful new windows and doors from Siding Unlimited. For ideas, go to our Siding Unlimited Instagram page. For a free estimate and honest price guarantee, go to sidingunlimited.com.
Wisconsin's Midday News with Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty is taking you courtside. Powered by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Butts Insiders is your inside look at player updates, game previews, and exclusive analysis with special guests all season long.
I think after the game, he had 3 words to say: I get buckets.
Tune in every Thursday at 12:35, only on Wisconsin's Midday News.
For the win! It's gone!
Traffic is sponsored by the Wisconsin Assisted Living Association, supporting communities and residents through advocacy, education, and service. Where you live matters. Get the answers you and your family need about assisted living in Wisconsin. Start with clear, trusted guidance by visiting whereyouLiveMatters.org today.
Traffic and then weather. Debbie Lassiga, how are the roads?
We've got an accident now on the ramp from Beloit Road to southbound 894, so watch out for that. We've also got a couple of accidents on Highway 100, one of them on the southbound side at Cedar Street with the 2 right lanes blocked. The other one closer to I-94, turns out they just have 1 car left over, and it's a broken down vehicle now. Technically, it's a disabled vehicle. So try and stay away from that one. It's on the right shoulder. Luckily, it's not in traffic, so but still, you want to keep an eye out for that. Eastbound 94 backing up from 70th Street all the way to 35th. Westbound from 35th Street to Hawley Road. 43 southbound's pretty much cleared up. Just a bit heavy right through the Marquette and onto the high-rise bridge. I'm Debbie Laziga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Your 5-day forecast brought to you by Infinity Exteriors. Tonight, mostly cloudy, a low of 33. Tomorrow, a chance of a rain-snow mix at night, a high of 40. Thursday, rain likely, very windy, a high of 61. Friday, a slight chance of rain, mostly cloudy, a high of 54. Saturday, rain showers are likely, a high of 54. Right now, Milwaukee, mostly cloudy and 42 degrees.
From the White House briefing room to the stories shaping the country, CBS News Chief Washington correspondent Major Garrett.
It's not about me. It's not about CBS News. It's a very serious time, and I tried to ask questions that were as close to the central nervous system of this very big story as I could, so the American people could learn as much as they possibly could.
National perspective, straight answers, right here on Wisconsin's Afternoon News.
He has the best open of all Wisconsin's afternoon news.
That is powerful.
And it's his own words. He's the chief Washington correspondent for CBS News, created fascinating podcasts like Agent of Betrayal, author of Mr. Trump's Wild Ride, and the book, The Big Truth. And he anchors The Takeout on CBS News on online platforms. You can also hear it in podcast form, watch it on YouTube. Major Garrett, thanks for joining us.
Great to be with you. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. So we were just exactly an hour ago at this time, we were talking to Congressman Tom Tiffany on the Talk and Text line. He's also a Republican gubernatorial candidate. And I asked him, are you in Washington, D.C. right now? And amid this government shutdown. And he said no. And he railed into Chuck Schumer and other Democrats, pointing the blame on the other side of the aisle. But what CBS News is often saying in our national scripts is that there's a lot of talk over the next 2 weeks that are going on behind the scenes. Can you take us behind the curtain with that?
Yes, there are behind-the-scenes conversations, but they're not getting very far, and here's why. The Senate, on a bipartisan basis, meaning Republicans and Democrats, after a long and exhaustive process last week, got the White House to sign off on a deal. And they thought that deal, because it had the White House's support and it passed unanimously in the Senate, could be approved by the House in very short order last Friday, And that would have paid not just for TSA employees and agents, but all of Department of Homeland Security, Coast Guard, FEMA, everyone else. House Republicans, particularly those in the Freedom Caucus, those most conservative members of the Republican conference, rebelled instantly and said, no, we're not going to support this. Well, the margins in the Republican House are very, very thin. Everyone knows that. And when you have even 2 or 3 defections, everything collapses, and there were more than 2 or 3 defections, 20, 30, maybe 40. So the Speaker of the House had no recourse other than to say, forget it, we're not going to do it. We'll pass our own alternative, which doesn't look anything like the bill passed by the Senate. And when you have 2 bills so differently written, you have to figure out a way to reconcile them. Yes, there are conversations about trying to reconcile these 2 very different bills, but they're not advancing to the stage where anyone's coming back to Washington to do something.
Mm-hmm.
In the listening audience, that's what you have to pay attention to. If you see stories about lawmakers coming back to Washington, then you know there's something to vote on. And when there's something to vote on, there's something to pass and send to the president. But until you start reading headlines about members coming back in large numbers, this is all still just conversation, exchanging ideas back and forth, not generating a lot of traction.
And meanwhile, as that shutdown continues, you also have, of course, a month-long conflict overseas with Iran that is continuing. Yep. The president, speaking with reporters just a few minutes ago, saying could be over in 2 weeks, maybe 3. But a lot of this is hinging on the Strait of Hormuz. We're seeing that that is having a real impact on our wallets and our bottom line here as that is shut down and you see the residual effects. But the president seems to be indicating that that could still remain shut even after the U.S. leaves. That has to be considered a loss. I can't imagine that he would want to have that go through.
So that's an excellent summary of where we are. And it's very, very hard for reporters and for the general public to track what the president really means and what his intentions are. Because just 2 days ago, he was talking about doing all sorts of military things or considering military things to secure the strait and make sure it was operational and that Iran could never essentially toll ships that go through, have no control over it. Now he's saying we could leave. It's up to the French. It's up to the Brits to control it. It's their oil. You go in and get it. We don't have anything to do with it. Also telling my colleague, Weijia Jiang, today that there's not much more to do in Iran before he declares victory, meaning it could happen any day, which that, along with some very thin reports that the Iranian leadership, however it's composed, might be willing to cut a deal, sent the stock markets roaring. I don't know if your audience listening has checked the markets today. The Dow closed up more than 1,100 points.
Right.
The Nasdaq was up 4%, nearly 4%. The S&P more than 3%. Everyone sort of got this war about to end fever. That could all collapse again tomorrow because, as you just accurately summarized, moments ago the president said 2 to 3 weeks. Well, 3 more weeks of this with Brent and West Texas Intermediate crude selling above $100, that means gas prices $4 on average, maybe $4.50 in a month or so, and that will not be well timed for consumers trying to either enjoy the remnants of spring break or plan for the summer vacation.
CBS News Major Garrett is on the Talk and Tech line with us. You know, what was also concerning is what the president was just reportedly saying the other day, actually yesterday. The New York Times was published that he said that he would target desalination plants in Iran. I mean, that is so scary. And you think that he'd be targeting, military, but that would affect everyone in that country.
Yes, and it would also have ripple effects throughout the region because if that were to happen, and it hasn't, it's just a threat, but it's a pretty scary threat, and it's a threat that would inflict massive civilian harm, which the United States always says it doesn't want to do. Any civilian harm is accidental, not intentional, but if you take out a desalination plant, you're taking away fresh water away from civilians, straight up. Same thing if you cut off all electricity. Same thing if you bomb all the oil fields. You are taking money, material, and the means by which to live a life away from civilians. Hasn't happened. It's a threat, though. And it's a kind of threat that the president hasn't made before. We don't know how serious he is. We don't know what his intentions are. But if that were to happen, every military analyst I've talked to, even those who are supportive of what the president's trying to achieve with the Iranian regime, warn that then all restraint would be off the Iranians. They would attack every bit of infrastructure throughout the Gulf region, and they still have some capability to do that. And if you take either liquefied natural gas facilities off the grid in the Middle East, their own desalination plants, or other infrastructure, energy-related, then you have what could fairly be described as a regional economic catastrophe, because everyone would essentially be destroying everyone's infrastructure.
Right.
Yes, it could be rebuilt. Of course it could be rebuilt. But in the intervening time, lots of prices would go through the roof, and the effects would not just be for Europe or the Middle East, they would be global.
He is your CBS News chief Washington correspondent. Check out his book, Mr. Trump's Wild Ride. It is so eye-opening with Trump's first term. And he anchors a takeout on CBS News, all online platforms, YouTube, podcasts. Major Garrett, thank you for joining us.
Always a pleasure. We'll talk next week.
525 on WTMJ. Let's get to your WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. As you heard Major just detail a few moments ago, lots of green amid the possibility, at least, of ending this conflict. The words coming from the president's mouth earlier today. The market's responding in kind. The biggest gains we've seen certainly in the last week. The Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P 500 all up big. The big winner percentage-wise, the NASDAQ nearly up 4% today, almost up 800 points. The Dow, the big points gainer, over 1,100 points in the green, and the S&P 500 up about 185 points on the day. Financial planning at every level, Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com.
WTMJ's Julia Fellow here for the City of Hope Cancer Center in Zion. March is Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, shining a light on one of the deadliest cancers in the U.S. Each year, more than 150,000 Americans are diagnosed. One of those was Kenosha native Jose Santos, who was 37 years old when testing revealed stage 3 colorectal cancer.
And that's when my life got turned upside down. It was a scary feeling to not know what was going to happen.
Jose credits his care team at City of Hope in Zion, less than an hour from Milwaukee, for helping save his life.
I would say that you are going to be in the greatest hands in the world. And I think City of Hope changed that mindset for me because they gave me hope.
Before it could spread further, doctors acted quickly, using cutting-edge cancer treatment and research to develop a personalized treatment plan just for him.
They did a biopsy of my tumor to see what kind of tumor it was and what kind of treatment plan I would have to go through.
That included chemotherapy infusions, oral medication, radiation, and surgery to remove his colon.
They're working with you as a team, and that makes you feel empowered about your health and the treatment they're going with. And you're going to feel like family. The hospital does follow what's called the mother standard. So basically, they want to treat you like you would treat your mother, with dignity and respect. And you're going to feel that when you go into the hospital.
Today, Jose is cancer-free and using his story to encourage you to take action, listen to your body, and don't be afraid to get a colonoscopy. Most people should get regular colonoscopy screenings starting at age 45.
Getting exams like a colonoscopy, it's honestly not that bad. It's 15 minutes and you're done, you're finished. But it's those 15 minutes that can make a difference and can save your life.
Because early detection doesn't just save lives, it gave Jose his. City of Hope Cancer Center in Zion is less than an hour from Milwaukee. They are advancing cutting-edge cancer treatment and research. Visit cityofhope.org. That's cityofhope.org.
Heart disease won't stop us. Diabetes won't slow us down. Allergies, high blood pressure, shoulder pain, cancer. Nothing will keep us from pushing Wisconsin ahead. Because with the Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network, forward progress is what we stand for. That means always pushing and always innovating. With new technologies and breakthrough treatments that make life better, whether we're sick or well. It means providing more convenience and more ways to receive medical excellence for all your health needs, for big and small. It means being there for you, our family, caring for yours. So let's keep raising the bar. Let's keep testing the limits of what medicine can do. Let's push ahead and make life here as great as it can be. Visit Freighter.com to find out how.
So he said, well, a traditional Easter dinner sounds good to me. And she said, it sure does. So who's cooking it? And I said, the packing house. And you can have it one of two ways. All day long this Easter Sunday from 11 to 7, the Packing House will be serving a traditional Easter house-baked honey ham dinner, including green beans and parsley boiled red potatoes, all for $34.99. And if you'd rather have something else while you dine in, of course our full menu will still be available. And our drive-thru window will be open from 10 to 4 to grab that same house-baked honey ham dinner priced at only $25 with no pre-ordering needed. Now the lines can look long, but don't worry, because they do move fast. If you plan to dine in, reservations will be necessary, because our patrons love this place for Easter. This is Chris Wyken. This Easter Sunday, dine in or drive through at the Packing House and enjoy a traditional house-baked honey ham dinner.
Deliciousness from scratch. That's the Packing House.
Drive-through dinners, cash only, please.
Hi, this is Michelle Voskel, CPA and team member at the Neal Group. If 2025 didn't go exactly as planned, you're not alone. You made it through, and that's what counts. Now it's time for taxes, and for a lot of people, that's when the stress kicks in, especially if things got messy along the way. The good news? A rough year doesn't mean a ruined future. We helped Nate fix a tax mess with the IRS created by one of those national firms and saved him $103,000 in penalties, plus another $150,000 in taxes, because we know the tax law. Imagine walking into tax season with a plan, clarity, and someone in your corner who knows the tax law and knows how to use it. You earned it. We help you keep it. Call us now at 414-325-2040 to arrange a meeting to see how we can help you. Don't wait. Call now. That's 414-325-2040 or visit nealgroup.net.
Traffic is sponsored by Mission 94 Firearms Education Center.
From those with no experience to firearms enthusiasts, all are welcome at Mission 94 Firearms Education Center. Learn the right way to handle firearms. Just Google Mission 94.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio WTMJ.
I'm Julia Fellow. Your top story this half hour. NPR and PBS not losing funding.
I'm Adam Roberts. What was in the backpack?
I'm Debbie Lazaga. An accident on the ramp from Beloit Road to 894 southbound. So heads up with that. Eastbound on 94 is going to be heavy from 76th Street all the way past 35th. The westbound side is backed up from 27th Street past Mitchell Boulevard. Northbound 41, you're seeing delays just before North Avenue all the way up past Burleigh. And southbound 43, just a little bit backed up right over the high-rise bridge. I'm Debbie Lazaga with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
Mostly cloudy, 33, your overnight low. Cloudy, cool on Wednesday. There's a chance for some afternoon rain as well as a snow mix with a high around 40 degrees. That's where we're at right now in Milwaukee at 5:32.
From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, the trial of the man accused of killing Milwaukee police officer Kendall Corder focused into evidence found at the crime scene today. Homicide detective Martin Savadra testified about items found in a black backpack.
It is a WIS International ID card with the name of our defendant.
Jermaine Jones?
Yes.
Okay. And was this item recovered and seen by officers as well as yourself within the backpack at the scene?
Yes, it was.
The homicide detective also testified to finding 23-year-old Jermaine Jones' Social Security card, credit card, birth certificate, and a receipt for a gun accessory. Jones faces life behind bars.
A federal judge moving to permanently block the Trump administration from cutting funding for both National Public Radio and the Public Broadcasting Service. More from CBS News' Cami McCormick.
A judge ruled President Trump's executive order to cease the funding was unlawful and unenforceable, and he said the First Amendment does not tolerate viewpoint discrimination and retaliation of this type. Trump said last year he wanted to defund NPR and PBS because he believed they were biased.
A federal judge in Washington found Trump's order violated the First Amendment's rights of the public media grants. Giants.
A suburban Chicago woman has pleaded not guilty to federal charges that she stole more than $3 million from people as part of a Ukraine charity scam. News Nation's Ryan Burrow.
Prosecutors say Tatiana Baser of Buffalo Grove solicited money from people she said was going to projects in Ukraine and immigration services, as well as to help her resolve a shoplifting arrest. but instead they say she used it for personal expenses and sent victims false records, including receipts and fake checks. When she believed investigators were closing in on her case, they say she pretended to be an FBI agent, a prosecutor, and a criminal defense attorney to make victims believe her case would soon be resolved and they'd get their money back.
The woman faces 7 counts of wire fraud and 2 counts of impersonating an officer.
A 3-judge panel today dismissing a lawsuit challenging Wisconsin congressional map lines as partisan gerrymandering.
The panel ruled it lacks the authority to overturn the map drawn by the Wisconsin Supreme Court in 2022. The state Supreme Court appointed 2 3-judge panels to handle separate challenges to the state's congressional map. The second panel is still considering a lawsuit that claims the map is an anti-competitive gerrymander. That suit is scheduled to go to trial next year. Neil Doyle, WTMJ News.
Governor Tony Evers vetoed 5 bills that aim to restrict gender-affirming medical care and athletic participation for transgender youth.
Republican lawmakers sponsored the measures. They say they were meant to protect children. Evers argues the bills would make Wisconsin less safe and less inclusive for the LGBTQ community. The governor vetoed the bills on International Transgender Day of Visibility. Elizabeth Linton in WTMJ News.
Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson has declared 2026 the year of housing in the city and reiterated that point during his State of the City address on Monday.
Housing affordability, housing availability, and housing quality.
Mayor Johnson says he's shifting focus from low income to middle market housing with new special tax districts and help for future homeowners.
We anticipate helping more than 200 families realize their dream of home ownership with down payment assistance.
Johnson also hinted at lawsuits recently filed against one of the city's biggest out-of-state landlords.
Some landlords, they delay or ignore, leaving tenants in unacceptable living situations.
Jessica Gatso, WTMJ News.
By this time tomorrow, the launch window for the highly anticipated launch of Artemis II will be open. And while the crew does not have any last-minute preparations, excitement is building among spectators. CBS Christian Benavides.
Shoppers picked up souvenirs as they wait to witness history.
I'm hoping that it's going to shake my chest cavity, the rockets on there.
For space enthusiast Danny Hawkins, this moment has been decades in the making.
I was that little kid watching a black and white TV. When I heard about the first program coming up, I said, I'm going to be there when it launches.
Artemis 2 is a test flight for future lunar missions and will allow human eyes to see the far side of the moon.
NASA's administrator says it is critical to keep the space program in regular rhythm to develop a muscle memory in executing these moon missions.
Time for a WTMJ Sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Brewers and Rays Game 2 of their series at American Family Field this evening. Pitcher Brandon Woodruff getting back on the mound for his first start of the season tonight for the Brewers. Our coverage starts after the 6 o'clock news here on your home of the Brewers, WTMJ. ESPN Shams Sharani reporting Bucks head coach Doc Rivers among 4 members of the 2026 Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame class. And just 8 games remain on the Bucks' regular season schedule, including tonight against the Mavericks at Fiserv Forum. You can hear that game over on our sister station 94.5 ESPN starting at 7 o'clock.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 5:37.
The fact is, without us, you'll pay more. When you buy advertising, unless you're seeking out every avenue that the chosen medium has to offer and negotiating with every entity to find out what the true floor is, there's no way you can know if you really did get your best deal. In fact, there's a big chance that you'll overpay. We've done all the legwork, and with a very high volume of consistent year-in and year-out billing, we've uncovered rates that we're sure will surprise you. Anderson-Smith.com. We help small business advertisers get better results. The proof is in the pudding. Advertisers that hire us stick with us for years and years because they trust us, because we always promptly respond to customer needs, and because bottom line, we get results. Go to Anderson-Smith.com's Our Clients page to see who trusts us and check out a long list of real advertising success. Then hit the Contact Us button, email me, and I'll call you in short order. Because it's time we grew your business. Anderson-Smith.com.
Find furniture for life from Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
Wisconsin's afternoon news on WTMJ.
She is TMJ4's meteorologist, Lauren Larson. Lauren, how you doing?
Pretty good. You know, a little bit quieter than it was this time yesterday, so feeling better than last night.
I bet. How late did you stay?
Not too late. I think probably 11:30, but Brendan was in at 1:30 and stayed past noon today. So
Wow.
a long day for him too.
Shows how much you all keep us safe. Thank you for doing that. So
yeah,
tell me about the weather today. I mean, I was in and out, and there was some rain that passed us.
Right. Yeah, we've had really interesting weather today. Not necessarily interesting weather-wise, temperature-wise here in Milwaukee, but we did have some severe storms in Sheboygan County as well as Walworth, Racine, and Kenosha. A little bit of hail with that. The largest hail report we had confirmed was just over an inch in Johnsonville in Sheboygan County earlier this morning. So definitely some severe storms today. Then we had... with that this morning, our temperatures were around 60 degrees. That's true for Milwaukee as well. Eventually, we dipped into the 30s at some point around 1 or 2 o'clock this afternoon. And right now, it says it's 46 degrees outside. So we've been talking about a temperature roller coaster this month, this week, and really even here just this afternoon.
Yeah, it's been a difficult task to keep track of what the actual high temp is, because with Milwaukee being the lake effect city it is, and the wind was no joke. So I was sound asleep last night, and all of a sudden I live in an old home in River West, and all of our windows were just rattling out of nowhere. And I thought, okay, maybe there's a storm moving through. We really didn't get any rain overnight, but the wind was really something else.
Yeah, absolutely. We really didn't have a lot of rain in Milwaukee from this, but on top of the wind, a lot of lightning. We have seen our tower cameras and a lot of viewers sending us just incredible lightning video.
So I do have, and I totally understand if you don't have an accurate assessment of the forecast for the Kennedy Space Center in Florida tomorrow, but we do have a big possible launch of that Artemis 2 rocket, astronauts going into space on a 230,000-mile journey, but it all has to start in Florida. Right now, I've got the forecast up, 77 degrees, the high, a 20% chance of light rain. According to NASA, that equates to about an 80% go forecast for that 5:24 Milwaukee time launch. But, Lauren, as you know as well as any meteorologist, the weather... it's such a fine, razor-thin margin. Any slight change, and it's just, nope, off, got to move it.
Right, especially with those launches. I don't have anything to add. I've been kind of keeping an eye on the weather and hearing from meteorologists, obviously with NASA, that are paying the most attention to this. But 80% go, I think, sounds great, and I am excited to hear about that tomorrow.
So bringing it back home, let's go through the 5-day.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the roller coaster continues. Tonight, we should fall to the mid-30s. So pretty chilly as we hold on to these cloudy skies, but not expecting any showers overnight. Tomorrow, our high temperatures make it to about 40 degrees. So starting April off below average and pretty chilly. We might see a little bit of sunshine peek through for your Wednesday. Late Wednesday night into Thursday, we're watching another round of some rain. This will likely start out as some slush, maybe a slick Thursday morning commute, and then all of that changes over into rain for southeast Wisconsin by Thursday afternoon. We may see a few pop-up thunderstorms as well. Temperatures make it to the low 60s on Thursday. Friday, a very small chance for rain with temperatures in the mid-50s. And then a better chance for rain again on Saturday, still in the mid-50s. As far as Easter Sunday, 50 degrees and partly sunny skies. So we've definitely had colder and snowier Easters, and we've also had some warmer Easters as well.
She is TMJ4 meteorologist Lauren Larson. Will we see you at 6 o'clock tonight?
You will.
Awesome. Thanks, Lauren.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a good night.
5:43 on WTMJ. And your 5-day forecast is brought to you by Infinity Exteriors.
Hey, this is Mike from Infinity Exteriors. Buying a roof, siding, or windows can feel overwhelming. Hidden costs, confusing contracts. We don't play that game. We educate you so you can decide. And when you know the facts, Infinity Exteriors is the clear choice. Since 1997, we've installed peace of mind with no surprise upcharges, flexible budgets, and immediate financing. Infinity Exteriors, saving our communities from unscrupulous contractors. Visit infinityexteriors.com.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scafidi.
And Kristen Bry of Point Taken.
Krista, did you know that only 40% of Americans have done any estate planning and only 40% of those have been properly updated?
When it comes to wills, trusts, and probate, there's a lot at stake. I needed someone who specializes in estate planning. At Walney Legal Group, that's all they do.
No intimidating lawyers. They just provide customized, friendly, easy experience. They call it lawyering the way it should be. So whether you need your estate planning reviewed
or just getting started, visit WALNYlegal.com.
This message reaches 1 million people or more every week. Spreading the gospel is more than one voice speaking to 1 million. It is and must continue to be 1 million voices, each speaking to one, pointing them to our friend Jesus.
The Lutheran Hour with Dr. Michael Ziegler.
The Lutheran Hour, Sunday mornings at 6:30 on WTMJ.
Leading a nonprofit takes more than heart. It takes the right leader with the skills, experience, and passion to move your mission forward. Vince Vitrano here for Spano Pratt. They focus exclusively on nonprofit executive searches, from discovering high-caliber candidates to rigorous assessment and selection to engaging and aligning your board of directors throughout the process. Spano Pratt doesn't just fill roles. They help you find leaders who truly align with your purpose and mission. SpanoPratt.com.
Kessler's Diamonds. Kessler's Diamonds.
Keeping you updated on culture and creativity. What's on Tap with Sandy Max.
In the studio with the co-directors of the new documentary simply titled Uke.
It's combining my two great loves of baseball and dreaming of being a baseball player someday and becoming a filmmaker, and somehow the two worlds have collided.
Now that they know what he was going through, it'll just make his fans love him even more.
Weeknights at 6 on WTMJ and the What's on Tap podcast on WTMJ.com.
Traffic is sponsored by Marty's Pizza.
Remember, Marty's Pizza.
Right off I-94 and Highway 83 in Delafield.
546 on WTMJ. One more check of the roads before 6 o'clock. How are we shaking, Deb?
Eastbound 94 is going to be a little bit backed up from about 76th Street through the Stadium Interchange to about 35th. The westbound side is just tight right through the Stadium Interchange itself. And other than this accident that's on the ramp from Beloit Road to 894 southbound, there's really not much else to talk about. Actually, everything seems to be rolling along pretty well. I'm Debbie Lazago with your WTMJ Time Saver Traffic.
He is your U.S. representative and wants to be your next governor, Congressman Tom Tiffany. Congressman Tiffany, welcome.
It is good to join you this afternoon.
Thank you. So the reason why you are on Wisconsin's Afternoon News is to talk about how you and other state leaders are pushing to eliminate vehicle emissions testing, pointing to the financial burden that it puts on drivers. But first, we have a government shutdown, and the president's calling on lawmakers to come back to D.C. instead of taking spring break to get a deal done. Are you in Washington, D.C. right now?
I am not. But when I left D.C. last Friday night, we had passed another extension to make sure the government is funded, fully funded, not leaving anything out. And I think this is the third time now, Julia, that we in the House of Representatives have passed a bill that makes sure all of government is funded.
Okay. And the TSA workers are saying that they did get some of their paycheck. On a typical day in Wisconsin, about 20 to 30,000 people are flying in and out of our state. 17,000 of that number is in Milwaukee. So how are you going to get this done and all these federal workers paid again, especially the TSA?
Yeah, we're going to continue to do the same thing that we've been doing in the House of Representatives. We passed these bills to fully fund all of federal government The shutdowns have happened in the Senate, in particular, led by Senator Schumer, the majority leader. And he has said, we are not going to fund all of government. One of the things that people should be encouraged about is that it was about a month and a half ago, we passed all of the appropriations bills for the first time in over a decade. Now, there were some things that I disagreed with a little bit, and I'm sure others would too. But for the first time, we used regular order to pass all parts of government being funded, including TSA, went over to the Senate, and Senator Schumer said, nope, we're going to pick and choose what is going to get funded, and they shut the government down.
Okay, we only have a limited amount of time. I want to ask you how the governor's race is going. How hard is it to run against more than a half dozen other people on the Democratic side of the gubernatorial ticket?
Oh, I'm not running against the people on the Democrat side of the ticket. They're going to make that decision in August who their candidate is, and then we will do that at that point. What I'm doing is I'm talking to the people of the state of Wisconsin, how we make Wisconsin a great state again. You look at our education, 7 in 10 kids cannot read at fourth grade level, and we have property taxes, largest increase in 30 years back in December. Utility rates among the highest in the Midwest, used to be among the lowest. Wisconsin's headed in the wrong direction in many ways. The good news is it can all be turned around, and that's what I've been talking to people in Wisconsin about. Here's the template for fixing what's wrong with Wisconsin and making us one of the great America once again.
You know, Adam and I, who's next to me, we were at the big, how many people was it, Adam? Like 8 or 9 people with the Democratic Forum that took place in Milwaukee?
Yeah, about 8 or 9.
The biggest audience reaction was about ICE. How would you deal with ICE enforcement if you were governor in Wisconsin?
Yeah, so let's take what happened in Minnesota, Julia, where we had those 2 deaths. We're so unfortunate. And what happened there is that not all levels of law enforcement work together. Here's what I do in Wisconsin. I would take local, county, state, and federal law enforcement, and I would make sure that they're coordinated in their efforts. When you see ICE work effectively in states, it's where they're coordinated with local law enforcement. Everybody is in agreement as far as how they're going to go about doing their work. Remember, ICE only comes into a state when they have someone who needs to be detained that is oftentimes a violent criminal who is here illegally, either committed a violent crime in their home country or here in the United States, and they need to be removed from our country. And that's what states need to do, and most states do that. We'll do the same here in Wisconsin. We'll make sure that all levels are coordinated and that we do it appropriately so it isn't so disruptive as happened in Minnesota.
Congressman Tom Tiffany, Republican gubernatorial candidate, with us on Wisconsin's Afternoon News. You, Congressman, were at the lectern yesterday alongside State Representative Bob Donovan and others, making your push, and it's now part of your gubernatorial platform, to end vehicle emissions testing in southeast Wisconsin, the 7-county area of our state, where every other year you have to go through this right now. I wonder why you're making this platform commitment now. I was looking back at other Republican candidates, and I have not found one that took the stance that you are. Why are you making this push now?
Yeah, Adam, that's a really good question. And so the long and short of it is this was instituted back in 1984, and it's basically Wisconsin paying for Chicago and Indiana's pollution. I think it bears repeating that this is as a result of Chicago and Indiana's pollution drifting north across the southeast corner of Wisconsin, and they put these testing requirements in place in order to deal with that. Well, the problem is in Chicago. It's in Illinois. It is not our problem. Second of all, vehicle emissions have become so much better in the last 40 years since this was implemented in 1984. While this may have been well intended in 1984, it's no longer effective, where most vehicles are not a problem. But we had a gentleman there, I think it was at L&M Garage from North Prairie, who spoke very eloquently about this. He said, I have people that come in with that, check engine light on, and the bill that they end up having to pay is more than the car's worth, and they end up not having a car. And he referred to it as a tax on the poor. And so that's exactly what it is. And it does not hold up with the science now. The Department of Natural Resources says, we're not so sure that this should continue. It's time for this antiquated program to go away. It's costing Wisconsinites in the 7 counties in southeastern Wisconsin far too much money.
Part of your platform on this is collaboration with those states you mentioned, Chicago and Illinois, and then Indiana. You will likely, though, face some pushback, I have to imagine, particularly from Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, if they seem to think that we're levying blame on them for this. How will you work over that potential pushback you may face from those governors to get something done?
Yeah, I think that's an accurate characterization. I think you go to them and, first of all, you take the science to them that shows that this pollution is coming from Chicago and Indiana. And what I would hope to do is, I have a good relationship with Lee Zeldin, who is the head of the Environmental Protection Agency. I will ask them for a waiver. And what I would do is hopefully go in with those 2 states, Indiana and Illinois, and say, hey, how can we work this out that Wisconsinites are not being penalized? Because remember, as a result of this non-attainment zone in southeastern Wisconsin, the penalty is not just on these drivers with their cars. It also penalizes us in terms of manufacturers cannot make additions because of those strict limits that are put in place as a result of the EPA having this non-attainment zone.
Congressman Tom Tiffany and Republican gubernatorial candidate in the state of Wisconsin with us on Wisconsin's Afternoon News. Congressman, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Adam and Julia.
Thank you. 5:55 on WTMJ. If you missed part of that interview or anything else, Wisconsin's Afternoon News is always with you on the go. Wherever you stream live, you can listen to Wisconsin's Afternoon News on your podcast. You can text WAN. It stands for Wisconsin's Afternoon News, WAN to 855-616-1620, WAN to 855-616-1620. Here's your business headlines.
These are your business headlines from the Milwaukee Business Journal.
Milwaukee-based Interpac Tool Group downsizes its service business in the Europe, Middle East, and Africa region. Executives say the downsizing is due to a softer demand environment exacerbated by the conflicts in the Middle East. Caulfield's Wine Bar and Restaurant closes in West Dallas. The closure comes about 15 months after the